All right. Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge that there's a lot going on out in the world right now. I want to wish everyone love, peace, and God. And we are going to get this party started. Welcome, Michael Dean. How are you this day?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm good.
And Pretty Ricky, how you doing?
Mm,
He's frozen or something.
Frozen. Okay. Well, we're going to say hello to Cassandra, who's first in the chat. And we got Andre Staley. What up, though? He wants to know, Brother Dean, did you see Superman last night?
I did. I didn't see it last night, but I did see it.
Okay. What did you say? What do you think?
I'm going to do a review thing later. I would just say if I was going to do Marlins at a scale of 5, I'd give it 2.5. 2.5 Marlins.
All right. And we got Nick Felden from Denver. We got Christina from Minneapolis. Love this. WDPDTW is Christina's favorite Saturday activity. And we got KMS 1984, Purple Saints. We got EA, Music is Medicine. Ola from San Francisco. We got Dorothy Edwards. Got my purple on. And like Ricky said, once he gets his tap working, as you come on in, just hit that like button to help us with the YouTube algorithm. And we got Real Line the DJ. I can't see. I need my glasses aren't the best. I wonder what's on your avatar. Let's see.
Zap.
Zap. Okay, Zap. Got it. And we got Blade Brown. Didn't have an unexcused absence last week. That's okay. Come on in. We got Duke Swan. We got Ronald Dagley Jr. And okay, I don't know about Happy National Simplicity Day. Okay, love that. We got D68A, Purple Wave. Thank you so much for the videos because we got one this week we're going to talk about. We got Barbara Y. We got our timekeeper, Pretty Ricky, sleeping in class. That's not right. And then we got Austria. And we got Mooches from Philly. We got Man Ray 10. We got Theo. We got Kumo 42 already talking to Dear Estate. Please allow Pretty Ricky into the show. Oh my God. And we got Drea.
Oh man.
We're getting the joke started early.
Yeah. Drea Dance is celebrating their brother's 50th birthday. So I have to jump off a little
That's what's up.
Happy birthday to your brother. 50 is a milestone. And we got El Debarra. Thank you so much for being here. We got Gabrielle. Ooh, love your avatar. From Down Under. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see what Barbara White says. Haven't been able to finish watching last week's show, so I don't know if I should stay for the live show or go finish that one first. You can finish that later. Stay with us. And we got Lady Cab Driver. Let's see. EA wants to know, is anyone watching Smoke on Apple TV on episode 3? Princess Memoir is displayed on the teenager's desk. When the camera pulls back, you see why. So tell us, EA, is it a good series, Smoke? And we got, I'm assuming if you've gotten up to episode 3, I'm assuming that it is. We got El Michelle. And Theo has been in their okay, I love Theo. Everybody should know that. But I love Theo even more because Theo is getting prepared for the 30th virtual symposium in September. As he's been in his mid-90s, Prince back past few days. And then we got TP, and we got Sister Charles from Airport, Purple Fan from Airport in Minneapolis. On the way back to Houston, H-Town.
Safe travels. Safe travels.
Yeah, safe travels. That's how you do it. And Andre wants to know what time is it in Australia, Gabrielle. And then let's see. We got 2 a.m. That is commitment, Gabrielle. 2 a.m. in Australia. We got a little Love Sexy 71. You can barely hear that. And then we got JD Morning, as Morris E. Day would say. Okay, I think I got everybody. So let's do our housekeeping with the quickness. We are week 28 of What Did Prince Do This Week? This is a very slow read of Duane Tudahl's Prince Studio Sessions book series, as well as the Saturday Salon. If you don't know what a salon is, do your Googles, as Michael Dean would say. Do your salon plus Harlem Renaissance Google, and you'll understand. And then we're going week to week, not date to date. And you can find the detailed schedule on this bit.ly link, as well as this QR code. I'm talking a little too fast for the vibes that's going on, but I'm kind of in a great mood, and I love this song. Okay, you do not need.
That's my shit right there.
Yeah, Michael Dean got it.
Nothing around here. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is the book we reading.
Rise.
That's right. And my bookmark fell out. And I think Ricky and Michael Dean got the Old Testament, and I'm rocking the NIV version, the one with the circle. Yes. And then let's see here. These will be archived at Polished Solid as well as at MDean. Ricky, I always love it when you tell people to like and subscribe and all that. So you do that for me because you're better at it than I am.
All right, everybody. I'm Party People. What's up this morning? Hope everybody's doing well. As y'all are in here, hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? So we can get the likes up. And don't forget to share amongst the Prince community. We aren't the only Prince community, but we are one of many. And some people don't know about us. And they would probably love these discussions and insight that we all have to share. So please hit the like button and share. Just hit it as you come in, or if you're already in, just, you know what I'm saying, pause for the cause, hit the like button, and tell a friend or two or three or more.
Yes. And while you're here, Ricky, can you do a really quick Dear Estate for Theo here?
I need Exodus. Oh, you know what? Dear Estate, as we celebrate the 35th anniversary of the time and say Graffiti Bridge.
But hold on, Ricky.
Pandemonium.
Ricky, do you have something planned?
Oh, yeah, I do actually. Sorry.
Okay, because we want the Dear Estate to be clear.
Okay. Dear Estate, let me start over. Dear Estate, as we bask in this 35th anniversary of the Times Pandemonium and Graffiti Bridge, we would like for you to honor the time and do as they said and say release it. That being Exodus, as we celebrate the 30th anniversary of Exodus and 36th anniversary of 1-800 New Funk. We would love to have those on streaming platforms per Theo, you know what I'm saying? So we can share the knowledge and the wealth of the artists that we all know and love. Exodus is one of those albums that all Prince fans should have access to, and they need to hear it because the Bump Squad has returned and the Exodus has begun. Yeah. And we need you to go ahead and make that available. Don't let it be like a black market bootleg anymore. Give the people access. You know what I'm saying? And like the Times said, just release it.
Love that.
That's a Dear Estate moment for the moment.
That would be a good move for Warner Brothers. Since I think they had at one time planned to release it, so like they could sell it that way. Like we're finally gonna put it out or something like that.
Yes. And so Andre, Brother Dean, wants to know, do you have a different channel where you review movies, or are you doing a Superman review on Podcast Juice?
We're going to do it on Podcast Juice, and we may end up going live to do it today. We'll have Q Storm and Ampu. So,
I mean, you saw Kal-El last night?
I didn't see it last night. I seen it the other day, but yeah,
okay.
I did see it. Did you see it?
No, not yet. I'm kind of interested in seeing how Mr. Terrific does. I heard he does well.
Yeah, he does good. You got to see it for yourself. It's okay. It's an interesting movie.
Okay.
All right.
Did you get nostalgic and like when you heard the theme and?
Not really.
Okay.
No. But let me be clear. I think it looks fantastic. You know, the casting They all look great. It looks great, and I was apprehensive at first.
Okay, yeah, it does look colorful. It does look colorful.
Very.
Yay! We got Mr. C. Lee here,
sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the Crooked Letter State, from Jackson, Mississippi, not too far from Clarksdale.
Good morning. Can y'all hear me?
Oh yeah, we can.
The man put the blues in Prince music.
Yeah, I got two things to say.
Release it.
One, I had to drop my wife off at the airport this morning. And two, that damn 1 hour oil change is no longer 1 damn hour. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's not.
So I'm here now. So
to D'Angelo, I got to give a special shout out to somebody real quick.
All right.
I know we got some listeners who are members of like Delta Sigma Theta, and they are having their national men convention in DC this weekend.
Okay.
So I know Camila and Cabria are Delta. Shout out to them, and shout out to the other ladies that are Prince fans that are Deltas and Sorors and whatnot. Hope you guys had a safe weekend. And if you're not there celebrating, then hey, celebrate here with us. And if they're not here, someone pass this episode on to them. Tell them that I gave them a shout out for their National Men Convention Week. All right. Love that.
And we got Man Ray 10. Well, first of all, I don't know if you saw this, C. Lee, but I love this.
Thank you, Gabrielle.
Mr. I shut up.
And then Man Ray 10 is saying congratulations to C. Lee on his new Prince class. We can't wait to hear all about it. You want to talk about your Prince class really quickly?
So it will be Monday. It'll be an entire week long. It'll be Monday to Friday. I'm actually driving out Monday morning. We're going to try to do what we're going to do is it's going to be.
Let us know where it is.
It's going to be in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, at a place called 100 Men Hall. This is important because 100 Men Hall was actually one of the main stops on the Chitlin circuit. So when you hear people talk about the Chitlin circuit, so Bay St. Louis is on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. So they would basically go from Natchez, Mississippi to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi to New Orleans. So those would be, so I'm going to be giving my Prince class at a place where Ray Charles played, at a place where James Brown played, at a place where many of the jazz greats played. So it's going to be really cool for me to be having a Prince class there in a hall where Sammy Davis Jr. played there. So I'm going to be giving a Prince class, again, 100 Men Hall, Bay St. Louis is about 40 minutes from New Orleans, and we'll be down there for a week. And it'll end with a Prince talk between me and a brother named K.S.A. Lehman. K.S.A. Lehman is a major fiction writer. He won an award for if you don't have his book called Heavy, and Heavy is a book about how family trauma is passed on in the Black community and how we don't ever address that Black community, that we don't ever address that trauma, that community will continue to be spread on. But we're going to cover Prince as the Black civil rights archetype. We're also going to discuss fashion, and we're going to discuss his movies and how he amplified what it meant to be a post-civil rights architect through his entire catalog. So this is going to be more than just a Purple Rain show. All right, that's it. I'll shut up.
No,
what's the name of the brother that did the book? I think
K.S.A. Lehman.
Yeah, I got that book.
Hey, how can I take the class?
Like a bestseller type of book, wasn't it? Like,
yeah. And it's two. It's you either have Heavy or what's called what's his novel? I'm gonna think about it because his novel I think is Fraction or Friction. I have to look up his novel because I have his novel too. But Heavy's on my mind because I actually wrote a real extensive. Thank you for that, Sister Kim. Yeah, KSA is just this dude, and he's originally from Jackson, Mississippi. He's originally from Jackson, Mississippi. His mom taught at Jackson State for 20 years. He didn't go to Jackson State, so I always get on him about that. But you know what? If your mom taught somewhere for 20 years, you really don't want to go there. So,
how can I take the class?
Right now you can't. It's just gonna be there. It's a week-long workshop, and I know we're gonna do photographs. I'm hoping that they at least film the talk between KSA and I. But one of the reasons we're not filming the whole class is because I want the students there to be free to engage. I want to be clear. And Prof. Duff and Brother Rick and the people feel me on this. I'm not a talk at you kind of teacher. We have a conversation. we have a dialogue. So I start my class with y'all tell me what y'all know about Prince. Y'all tell me what y'all think about Prince, because I want to start there. And then we'll get into we're going to talk a lot about Andre Anderson's mom, Bernie Anderson. We're going to talk a lot about Pepe Willie. We're going to ground them in North Minneapolis. We're going to ground them in the Black community of North Minneapolis. So yeah, but it's going to be a talk back. And so I want them to feel free to talk. And a lot of times, people not used to being on camera tend not to want to talk. So that's one of the reasons we opted by not filming it, because I think a workshop or a class serves best when people come and tell me what they know about Prince, and then we had that discussion from there. I'll set up.
Now, but Celie, like if you lived in Mississippi or was wanted to have a Celie experience, could you still sign up for it?
Yes, all you got to do is you can go to my Substack, Psychedelic Lit, or you can go to my website, Psychedelic Literature. So if you go to my Substack, Psychedelic Lit, or if you go to my website, Psychedelic Lit, because the great thing about it is it's free. The whole week is free. So we're gonna have a week of classes. We're gonna have the talk with me and KSA, and there's gonna be a local band that's gonna be playing Prince tunes. I want to be clear. There's not gonna be a tribute band, right? Remember we talked about the difference between a tribute band and people playing Prince tunes. This is a really fine local Mississippi band. They're based in blues, so you're gonna get like a blues kind of interpretation of a lot of Prince's songs. So we hoping that that's gonna also open up some things. So if you just go to the Substacks, you go to my website, and it's free. I'm glad that it's free to the public. And I want to say this: I give out props to Brother KSA, because when you win them big awards, your fees go up. Y'all know how it is when you win a big award. And so when they contacted KSA, and I'm not saying this but when they contacted KSA, oh, see me gonna be there? Don't even worry about paying me. I'm gonna be there. So I want to give a shout out to Brother KSA, because just to be honest, just to have him by himself, you talking about starting at $2,000. His fee right now is anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 to get KSA to show up. And he's basically doing it as a solid, because I taught at Jackson State with his mom for many years, and he and I know each other. So he's basically doing us a solid by coming there Friday and having that talk with us.
All right, JSU, I love.
There you go.
All right. Okay. So
man, you forgot to mention my favorite band, Celie.
Which one?
The one that probably played it at that spot, man. What was the band's name at Animal House? Otis Williams and the Mystics or something like that?
Yeah, Otis Day and the Nights.
Otis Day and the Nights.
Otis Day and the Nights.
The Chitlin Circuit. Otis Day and the Nights.
All right. So again, this is where I wish I would have made different life choices so that I could just fly into Mississippi and just hang out for a week. But I know some of you made different life choices, and so maybe you can do that. And so I would not sleep on a week with Celie. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Talking about Prince.
Propped up. When you talk about life choices,
yeah.
So check this out. So I dropped my wife off. My wife is at the NAACP convention all week in Charlotte, North Carolina. So my house is gonna be empty for a week, right?
Woo.
My wife's car's in the shop. My car in the shop. I'm gonna be driving down to the coast in my old Red Fox truck, my old Sanford and Son. So so you talking about life choices? I said, well, it's gonna be me and the Fred Sanford truck going down.
Oh man,
that's it. All right,
hold it, Fred. You need to.
Oh my God, you gotta love Aunt Esther. All right. We still haven't gone through the housekeeping, and I know our timekeeper is like, what is going on today? You're acting like I am not here. So yes, and shout out to Quincy Jones for that theme. All right, so this is our hashtag WDPDTW, our Gmail if you want to get in touch with us. And this is the disclaimer. The State of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. That means that this is an independent endeavor, and we have to make sure we remember our community guidelines. We choose to be a community even when we disagree, and that's totally okay. All right, so we play Isla Mujeres from Eric Leeds' Things Left Unsaid, Paisley Park Records, 1993. There's too many. Go ahead.
Say that again.
Isla Mujeres?
Yeah. Woo, boy. Isla Mujeres. Okay, I got it.
Yes.
I learn something new every day.
What does that mean? Is that a name? Or?
The Island of Women? Mujer is women. So I'm
Mm.
thinking it's like Island of Women. But somebody
Isla
correct me
Mujeres.
in the wrong.
That's what happened. That's what happened when you strive just to get a C in the Spanish class. That's what happened. Just trying to get that C and get up out of here. Just trying to stay eligible to play ball, teacher. Just trying to stay eligible to play ball. That's it.
I love this. Theo is always coming with the acronym. Where did Prince C. Lee do the workshop?
Appreciate you, brother Theo.
Yes. So Ela. So Kim is saying I shouldn't be pronouncing my S. Is what I'm thinking. So Island Women. And and D68A says it's actually an island in Mexico.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Look at Eric being international.
International player.
I thought of that honey that was behind him in the picture. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was
could be, C. Lee. Could be. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
It's a great photo. I really love this album cover. It's one of my favorites. All right. So we are episode 131. We rolling. And this is week 28. And what did Prince do this week? Also known as Where Did Prince, aka C. Lee, do the workshop? Okay. So this week, compared to several weeks where it has been no studio sessions, no songs, Prince is making up for it this week. So we got a lot to talk about. We got 6 songs and we got 5 studio sessions. We got a little ditty some people may know called Girls and Boys.
Oh, you know, we can't see it.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. And so we got Girls and Boys. We got Love or Money. Now,
what it is
one of my, yes, what it is. Exactly. And we got Alexa Day, Paris. I call it Paris. And then we have Neon Telephone. We definitely got to talk about that. And then we got God is Everywhere, which I've never heard. Has anyone heard God is Everywhere?
Can't say that I have.
Nope.
All right. And then we got...
Was that one of them titles in Graffiti Bridge? Remember when he had the songs and he was going through the song?
Oh, yeah, the sheet music.
Fantastic. Was that one of the songs in there? Because I remember.
I think it was, now that you say that.
Okay, you should have when God is Alive.
It may have been God is Alive. There you go. It may have been God is Alive. But I remember sitting in the theater like, when I get to hear them damn songs. Like, what them songs?
Exactly. I remember saying the same thing. Like, man, when we go hear those?
Right.
Yeah. And let's see. So there's also an appearance of Prince and Sheila E. at the 7th Street entry. For those of you who don't know about the 7th Street entry, it's basically right in First Avenue, but it's like a side
room.
Like a side room. And then we also have the tracking of Venice de Milo. So we got Girls and Boys track this week, Love or Money track this week, Alexa Day Paris track this week, Venus de Milo track this week. That alone means this is like a scorching hot week for Prince. He's on fire like Mariah. I don't know how Neon Telephone got in here, but it did. And then there's some messing about with Happy Birthday, Mr. Christian, not from Prince's End, and we'll talk about that. And then there is also the release of the For the Tears in Your Eyes video on Saturday. So this was a really big week for Prince in July of 1985. And who wants to start our reading?
I'll go because I got to step out early. So I'll go ahead and do my assigned reading.
All right. Monday, July 8th.
Monday, July 8th, 1985. Girls and Boys, tracking and overdubs. Love or Money, also known as Love or Money. Tracking overdubs mix. Alexa J. Paris, or Paris, as we say in the hood. Tracking and overdubs mix. Washington Avenue Warehouse, Edina, Minnesota. Producer Prince, artist Prince, engineer Susan Rogers and David Tickle. We skipping the quote?
Nope, we're reading this one.
We're reading this quote from the one and only Bobby Z. Rifkin. I've seen him write on all instruments. I think it starts sometimes in his head with the lyrics. a new keyboard instrument, or a new kind of guitar like in Girls and Boys. That synth guitar that whines like a duck, that inspired him to do that. Instruments could be inspiring for him. And I think being in the studio and new boards and new gear just keeps it fresh for him. Can I say something about that?
Yes, of course.
Call me naive, but just because we always only had pictures back then, I always assumed that he just only had the Mad Cat guitar, the one that he always toured with, and that was the one that he always played on every album. I never thought that he used other instruments, like other guitars other than that one. That's just me. I mean, I know better now that he did do that, but back in real time, I thought he just used whatever, what he played with in the pictures and what they took pictures of him playing in concert. That's what I figured. He just always used those instruments, not that he had a slew of them laying around. All right. Just my little geek nerd moment. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. The family and Sheila E. had been rehearsing at the warehouse, but now that recording equipment was set up for Prince, he wanted, or more accurately needed, to record. It didn't matter that Susan Rogers had been up for days. He had music in him that he had to get out. So he called Wendy, Lisa, Matt, Mark, and Bobby to meet him at the warehouse. All right now, Girls and Boys and Love or Money, that was the band, explains Wendy. We reading the quote?
That's right.
Reading the quote. I remember hours of rehearsal with those songs at the warehouse. There was an energy in the room just because the grooves were so good, especially with Girls and Boys. It centered around a synth guitar, Roland G707 guitar synth. That was so hard to play and so heavy. I remember Bobby on those synth drum pads, Simmons drum pads with the SDS V module, having to learn that. And I remember Prince running up to the riser back and forth to show Bobby that groove and then playing it for hours, getting into the zone. It's like a long distance runner. You know how they hit their stride. There's no difference. When the gears have finally locked and there's like a infallible quality to every musician listening. It's all about listening and the skill of listening and finding all the holes to link your chain. And once it happens, that's why that band was so good for that amount of time. All right, now talk your stuff. During the sessions like this, Wendy recalls that everyone had their part of the sound.
Skipping the quote and we're skipping the next paragraph. I'm going to go to on a historical note.
Okay, on a historical note, Girls and Boys, Love or Money, and Alexa de Paris were likely the first Prince tracks from the batch he'd listed as Perry songs, one of the many umbrellas such as Encrypt Music, Girl Songs, and Controversy Music in which he copyrighted his songs. While he had referenced Paris and France in many songs, including A Condition of the Heart, The Belle of St. Mark, and even very early in his career with It's Gonna Be Lonely, this is the first batch that seemed it seemed to be directly influenced by his time in the City of Love. He would release songs from the family as Perry songs, but they were actually recorded the previous summer. On Girls and Boys, Prince sang, "I love you, baby. I love you so much. Maybe we can stay in touch," which perhaps reveals what his inspiration may have been when in France. I often wondered if there was a girl that inspired him, speculates Lisa. I know how new love inspires new and fresh ideas. Even though he was in a relationship during this time, I know that he had little flings. Oh, sometimes I would just get a feeling like a little flurry of songs would come up and I'd say, there must be a girl that got him reeling. These songs end up being more fluttery and exciting. Girls and Boys and certain songs like that, they had this energy level to them that was like a buzz. Like, oh, what's going on, Prince?
We're skipping the paragraph and go to Prince had an idea.
Prince had an idea for adding a French female voice to the track, so he reached out to Marie France, the head of his wardrobe department on tour. He called her in the middle of the night to come down. Boy, nobody was off limits, recalled Rogers. She was a middle-aged woman who really didn't have a clue what he wanted, and her voice was kind of monotone, but it was just what he wanted. So I go into the studio, noticing that she didn't say no. So I go into the studio, recall France, and Prince gives me a sheet of paper with a written paragraph and says, "Can you translate it?" Laughs. I translated a bit literally, but I thought it was a beautiful as well as poetic, even though it isn't fluent French. And that's when he tells me, "Well, there's a mic over there, and you're going to say, okay, the text." I I was really very surprised because I wasn't expecting that at all. Everyone seemed pleased, okay, with her performance. Wendy and Lisa, who were there, applauded and they told me, "Thank you very much." And I was thinking on a second take, I would feel much more at ease and it would be much more better. But there was only one take.
In and out.
In and out, one and done. Okay, you can go back home now. It appears that she likely helped him phonically say,
Bouette Trebell. I'm worse. We know the
"Bouette Trebell, yeah, you're very beautiful." And he placed this in
Bell, mama, girls in my eyes.
and he placed
Bell, mama, girls in my eyes. All right, that's it.
and he placed it in the song. Okay, because her performance was outside the range of her usual duties. You think she was told that she would be paid in the studio, say musician union fee. Hey, that's nice. Prince, from what his manager told me, insisted that I receive a big check. It was a way to thank me. In exchange, I signed to renounce my rights on the recording, but it was a big check, which enabled me to buy a Mercedes. Go ahead now.
wow,
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that's
I
all right.
wonder if she didn't want to take the check, what would have happened?
All right. While in France, oh no, Lover Money was also fleshed out as a jam during this session. While in France, Prince had found inspiration for a third track from this session, but it was not a romantic muse. Instead, he found it in a way that appealed to his artistry. Steve Fargnoli's niece, Alexa Fioroni. Fioroni was only 15 years old, but she had already been a professional dancer for several years. She had been training in classical ballet at the Paris Opera Ballet School. When Prince heard of this young prodigy, he asked if he could see her dance, so she attended a private party at a nightclub in Paris. I know it was past my bedtime and it was 11 midnight, and I'm dancing because I said Fioroni. Thank you. I only saw him for a moment sitting in one of those little lounge couches with his scarf, and I recall that I wanted to have him come dance on the dance floor. I tried to wave him to get to dance with me, but he kind of just shook his head, looked at me. No, I shrugged my shoulders and went back dancing. Oh, you're 15. Alexa and her mother left the party and didn't see Prince again for months. When he returned to work on the film, she found out that she'd been his momentary muse. My uncle told me that Prince composed an instrumental for me. I was kind of in disbelief. I listened to it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see why he would think that. That was my personality. I was not aware of the privilege and how large and inspiring that was. It's a beautiful piece. Yes, it is. He was an extremely generous spirit. The song Alexa de Paris would be featured.
She would be.
Oh, she would be featured as a young
you're not over
dancer.
there crying, right?
No, she would be featured as a young dancer in the video for Girls and Boys. She played a minor part in Under the Cherry Moon. I'm in the movie in the section where Prince is playing in the piano bar by himself, and there's a little dancer. And I don't remember that. In that scene, there's a silhouette of a little person twirling. That's me in the background in a little skirt, kind of like one of those little dolls in the jewelry box for little girls. That's who I am. My details, Fioroni. I'm in the credits as the dancer. Prince oversaw Alexa de Paris, but the recording also included Lisa, Wendy, Matt, and possibly Mark, as well as Wendy's brother Jonathan on finger cymbals. Status: Girls and Boys 5 minutes 36 seconds would be edited to 3 minutes 27 seconds and released as a single on August 1st, 1986, backed by Under the Cherry Moon. The album version was released on 12-inch with the extended version of Erotic City on the B-side. Love or Money, 3 minutes 57 seconds, was considered for the Parade album, but released as a B-side of Kiss. Yes, one of the best B-sides ever. On February 5th, 1986. An extended version, 6 minutes 50 seconds, was released on the 12-inch for Kiss. The song was officially listed as a stylized heart symbol or money symbol, but will be referred to as love or money in the text. Alexa de Paris.
No, I ain't got time to be putting that every time I write this song.
No, right. You know what I'm saying? Alexa de Paris, 3 minutes, 20 seconds, would be released on May 7th, 1986 as the B-side for the single for Mountains. An extended version, 4 minutes, 54 seconds, was included on the Mountains 12-inch. Orchestral elements were recorded by Claire Fisher on August 21st, 1985, and used in the release film. Prince may have written lyrics for Alexa de Paris, but they were likely never recorded. Note, much of the recording for this session probably took place on January 9th after midnight. Oh, excuse me, July 9th. I'm sorry. Thank you. July 9th after midnight. I don't know why I keep going back to the first of the month, first of the year.
So Kim said she synced her. That's right.
Oh, yeah, dancing in the thing.
Yep. And yep. And I always notice her too, Drea dances. And then
That's a lot to unwrap in that.
it's like there's a lot, and this is just one day.
Yeah.
We could actually do this whole what did Prince do this week on this one day alone. So one of the things I want, I loved how you pronounce Prince backwards, Ricky. I never pronounced Prince backwards.
Oh, encrypt.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever heard that.
Yeah, I know. That's the reason why I was like,
That's a lot better than me because I was going around saying Eknip. You a lot better than me, brother. I been saying Eknip.
Hey man, so remember how you used to be in class and you used to be reading?
Go ahead.
No, you remember how man, back in the day, man, you be in class learning how to read, and teacher be like, sound it out,
Mm-hmm.
break it up.
Okay, so El Michelle says Holly Robinson talked about being called to stage at Prince's concert, handed the mic for the French part live, and infallible when it's ineffable. Okay, and let's see. All right, so this is I don't know how to express how important all these songs were in real time, especially the 12 inches and getting the B-sides. So, getting Alexa de Paris as a B-side to Mountains was extraordinary because I had never heard Prince do anything like that.
Yeah.
And then
that
was like incredible.
Yeah.
I almost feel like that song should have been on the album.
Yeah.
Two reasons. One is just an incredible song, but just for what you stated, like you'd never heard him flex his muscles, musical chops like that. It's not, when you think of Prince, particularly at that time, you still thought of the traditional Prince sound. Mm-hmm. But to hear something like that, I remember when I first heard this, I just couldn't believe it. Whoa. When you hear it in the movie, oh my God, like, what is that? And it's not on the album. I don't think the 12-inch that came out, the movie had already been out, if I'm not mistaken, before that 12-inch came out, I think.
No, 12-inch came out first.
Was it on Kiss?
It was on Mountains.
Mountains.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on
Mountains. I didn't hear it until I heard the movie.
Yeah.
I just incredible, man.
It's a phenomenal song. I can't wait for the estate to release it when they do their parade.
Yeah.
Box set. That's one of the things actually those two songs, honestly, Lover Money and Alexa de Paris are the two ones that I'm most anticipating getting like remastered and hearing in like
that Atmos version of that?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, wow, Michael.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about something.
Yeah.
Atmos version of Alexa would be incredible. Now, when I first got my Lover Money 12-inch, I don't know. I think the first time that I put it on, I had it on the wrong speed. No, but it actually, for those of you who have a turntable, it's really interesting to listen to that song in both speeds.
It kind of works.
It works. It actually works. Yeah, it really does. So if you want to have like a homework exercise for today and you have the 12-inch and you have access to a turntable, listen to that on 33 and 45. And when I realized I played it on the wrong speed, I kept playing it on the wrong speed, even though, because I was just like, it was just great no matter which way you played it. So,
Yeah, it was. That's
You know,
another phenomenal song.
That type of thing where you just described where you're playing it in a different speed like that. I think there was a time when a lot of cats was doing that for whatever reasons it was. Like I would kind of do that, and I would just Prince. But even with when I would go through back when you're doing the crate digging thing sometimes, and you'd be listening to older songs, you tend to play them a little faster for whatever reason, and the timing was just more to what contemporary timing was. And I think that bleeds into why we had that sort of period in hip hop where they were sampling those records and they were speeding them up a little bit. I think it sort of bleeds from that. That's just my opinion.
No, I'll tell you what's funny about that. When the transition was made from albums to CDs, and you had a whole bunch of albums, and of course you'd have to go and buy all the CDs. Because on my cassettes, right? Because and I want people to know what Brother Dean is talking about and what Prof Duff's talking about. So you would have your 45 and your 33 and a third. But depending on the turntable you had, there was also a third level where you could speed both of them up a couple of beats, right? So I like that. So for all of my cassettes, all my songs were sped up on it. So I would record it on it. So when it came time to go get the CDs, rather than go and get all the CDs for my albums, what I did was I digitized all of my cassettes. So like even now, so even now, so that's why if you never heard me talk about the remastered, because the remastered version is not going to be as fast as the way I learned the songs. So I simply digitized all of my cassettes. And so now when I listen to all of my songs, I don't listen to the remastered versions because again, they're not going to be that half speed up that Brother Dean is because you get used to it and you and it made those studio versions sound kind of more like a live because we know Prince would speed songs up for the live. So yeah, so for those of you that turntable experience, that was one of those turntable experience things that I really love being able to do. That's it.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to say about these amazing tracks? Girl, actually, we haven't even talked about Girls and Boys.
I know.
Go ahead, brother.
No, I'll just go ask everybody. So, like, where were you when you first heard like Love or Money? Like, what was your first like reaction?
So, I got the 45 Kiss. I had the 45 of Kiss. So, of course, with the 45. Love or Money fades out. So I couldn't wait for I knew that was going to be an extended. So for me, it was having had that 45, waiting for that extended 12-inch, and it did not disappoint. I still, and Kiss is one of those songs that I still remember where I was the first time I heard it. My friend, y'all won't remember, there was a car called a Nissan Pulsar, I think, back 86, 87. There were these cars called Nissan Pulsars. And so a dude around the block from me had one with a booming bass system. And the first time I heard Kiss was in the booming bass. It wasn't even on the radio. It was like this dude was bumping it out of his Nissan Pulsar. Yeah. And I'm going to the record store tomorrow. And so when I didn't know, so when I got that 45 and played Love and Money, I was like, oh, the 12-inch got to be coming out. So that was for me the first time waiting for that 12-inch and 12-inch. I'll shut up because I want to come back and say something about Girls and Boys when we get to that.
Sheila said, Mom, I got my C in Spanish. Let me get that money for this 45.
There you go. Exactly. There you go.
Okay, D'Angelo, Mike, what about y'all?
I think I only first heard it when it came on TV or something, the video. I think when the debut of the video is, at least in my mind, or I remember, because I remember seeing him, and it was just like, whoa. Well, so yeah, I just wanted to go back to what Celie said about the booming system. I miss those days when Prince was what they played in the
Yep.
booming system.
System.
Like I distinctively remember Darling Nikki. I remember I was out in the streets where I had no business being at that age, 2 or 3 in the morning, in my homie's car. You heard that boom. And I just remember hearing Darling, it was blasting. And we were like, oh yeah, I miss that when Prince was.
Oh man, the booming system days.
Right.
Cars-
It's funny to
Cars
think.
ride by with the booming system.
It's funny to think that Prince was the bass dude. Like we forget
Yeah.
that like Prince was how you checked your bass, and like all of the hood people
Get it
check
up.
their bass on Prince songs. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Prabhu.
So, I mean, for me, like, I don't remember when I bought, well, rather when I got Love or Money, but I know that I played it to death in my dorm room at Georgia Tech. Like, because I brought my turntable to my dorm room.
All right, getting down at GT.
Yes.
Getting down in the dorms at GT. Shout out to Kanisa. She's okay.
Yeah.
GT alum.
Love or Money was one I played to death alongside La 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 He He He. I'm sure I drove everybody on that floor insane because those are the two tracks that I just could not stop playing.
Yeah.
The Girls and Boys is a really interesting track for me, and because you have Eric Leeds on baritone sax.
I'm gonna speak to that in a minute. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, that you can speak to it. It's just that I had never really heard a baritone sax in a Prince song. And so I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that song is very important. Shout out to all my band kids back in the day or currently. That song did a lot for band saxophone playing kids. Because here you had the hottest star on the planet, and he had a baritone sax in a song being featured prominently, like dun dun dun, like that. That was a very prominent horn line, and I remember cats who weren't that into Prince being really geeked and psyched about learning that horn line, and they would, you know what I'm saying, like like we'd be in class and it'd be a break in between playing a song, and they would just break out into it, and they were so hyped about knowing it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so shout out to all the baritone sax players out there, because that's a big instrument to tote around.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
huge.
Yeah. It's huge.
And Prince and Eric Leeds they were a shining light, man, to a lot of band kids that play saxophone. I mean, especially those that play baritone sax. You know what I'm saying? Gave them, you know what I'm saying, a shout out, major top artists featuring that. Man, hey, it didn't get much better than that.
Yeah. So real quickly, I want to shine a light on this comment from Bodhisattva now, because I guess this is why, like, playing the 45 at 33 and a third was so comforting to me, even though chopped and screwed wasn't a thing. But I love chopped and screwed music, and I think it's because I love or Money, and I was playing it at 33rd and a third so long that I was like, oh yeah, I get this. So I'm so happy to see that someone else sort of hears that as well.
I got a question for you guys. Over the years, these B-sides haven't gotten the love. They've been ignored, basically, because when the Prince hits and B-sides came out, it didn't have the parade era B-sides.
Oh, it didn't?
No, it didn't have Love or Money on it. It didn't have Alexa de Paris on it either. And so those two songs were excluded. So like for years, unless you were a diehard like us, like those songs weren't heard by the masses like the other B-sides were.
Right.
I know. How do you guys feel about that? Yeah, just how you feel about it, because
that's interesting. I had totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, like they weren't. And
I will say that you're right. I don't hear a lot of people mention them. Like when people shout out the B-sides, Love or Money and Alexa de Paris doesn't get the shout out like that. It's what's sadly for me, as much as I love the song, so I love of Money, but whenever I hear it, I literally turn into Crystal. Dig it. I need this God. 400,000, 500,000, 700,000. What it is. Like,
Hey,
I literally like whenever that song is on. In fact, when my wife hears it, she just drops her head like, you just gonna embarrass us, right? It's damn right. What it is. I need this. Like I can't not do that when I hear Love or Money. So but so you're right, it's that they don't get. And it's so greasy, like it is, like I think, but I tell you the thing, because I want to get into, I'll be after this, I'm gonna get into boys and girls, but I think one of the things about Parade, right? Let's just talk about Parade in total, the album and the B-sides. Prince was so genius at tweaking or using different sounds that a lot of times people couldn't hear just how funky something is, right? I think even when you're using the Camille voice a lot of times, or the different types of voices, those things would throw people off. Because when first time I heard Love or Money, first thing I heard was James Brown. I could not hear James Brown when I hear Love or Money. And so the same for me. When you get Parade, the great thing about every Prince album is, and this is to steal a line from Brother Turnbull, right? Prince working in two timelines, music for today and music for tomorrow. Every Prince album gives you the groove you come to know and the groove where Prince is now. And I was always thankful. Kiss is the groove we knew. We knew Prince for that. So Prince was, that Kiss was, but I often think that Girls and Boys does not get the love for being one of the funkiest jams of all time, both in studio and live. Whenever I hear those horn lines at the beginning of Girls and Boys, dun, 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 and you hear those horn lines, it's like it's time to get up. It's time to move. I love the way Girls and Boys show up in the movie. Tricky My Boy, you damn right. This just got turned into a juke joint. This just got turned into a cafe. And I wish that Girls and Boys would get more love for being one of the funkiest things that Prince has done, because I just think that because of the different sound, the baritone, we weren't used to the baritone, as you guys said. There are a lot of different things. What's being done on the guitar, right? Just a little kind of different way he's playing the chicken grease on the guitar. Yeah, so Girls and Boys, just the way it shows up. I tried to do, when Prince in the movie, he grabbed the mic and I could never get the timing right. I could never, I was always a half beat late. So, look, I'm up in the damn club doing this here. People look at me. I'm trying to take my jacket off backwards the way he it's just, man, look.
It's
that whole thing is just, and when I think about being myself, when I think about, my uncle used to always say, we used to laugh at my uncle. My father used to laugh at my uncle because my uncle got on top of the house one day and he was walking on the house doing his walk like he was, and we were teasing about it. And my uncle said, "Young blood, you got to take your walk with you everywhere you go."
There you go.
Every time I think about my uncle's song of taking your walk with you everywhere you go, I think about Girls and Boys, as no matter where Prince went, he took the funk with him. All right, I'll shut up.
You know what? I got to give also another shout out. Mike might remember this. Prince in the Girls and Boys image, and say the video, Prince, Brown Mark, and Miko, they had the finger waves.
Yep.
And they inspired brothers in the 80s. I mean, especially West Coast brothers like Rodney O and Joe Cooley and them. They had the finger waves. Some of Hammer's crew had the finger waves. Like, that was a thing. It was a thing, like in Atlanta for a minute.
Yeah, that was.
They had the finger waves. I remember cats. I mean, before the braids and the dreads and all that came in, Jokers was rocking post curl look. Jokers had the finger waves, and I remember when Prince debuted that look on like the music award. People, man, he cut his hair. That's what people say. He cut his hair, and next thing you know, you seeing Jokers, like with I know with the finger waves. And I'm gonna say this about Alexa Day Perry because I got to break out soon. Man, it's such a beautiful song. I mean, I have always. I know when I've gotten in debates about Prince's musicianship, I would always champion that song. I'd be like, okay, check this song out. If you got any doubt about his music playing skills and say what have you, check this song out, and then get back to me. Because don't go off like D'Angelo said. Prior to this point, I don't know if it was D'Angelo or like Sheila said it. He didn't give us many instrumentals, so we had this song and like Venus de Milo from the same era, two beautiful pieces of music that he was kind of you could tell those stories that he had been hanging out say with Miles Davis and all that were kind of coming into fruition. They were coming out and say the music. So that's all I'm gonna say about that song.
So I want to go back. Well, there's actually before I go back because I want to go back to the hits because I didn't realize. Well, I'll say this. The reason why I didn't realize Love or Money or Alexa Day Perry was on the hits or the B-sides is because we got Power Fantastic.
Right. That's what everybody's doing.
That is true.
When we got that, I was like, oh my God. So I didn't care what else was on there. We got Power Fantastic. So that was one thing. But I mean, obviously, they should have been on there because if they're two of the best B-sides ever, Love or Money and Alexa Day Perry. So that made me go, never thought about that. So there's a conversation going on in the chat here about the second single from Parade, and Stone Freak is saying, as much as I love Mountains, Girl and Boys should have been the second single for Parade. Do you guys agree with that, or do you think Mountains should have been, or do you think another song?
I'll tell you what, I agree, but I know why they did it because of the way that the movie ends. And so, but I think about it, they could have gone the other way. Since the movie ends with Mountains, they could have said, well, folks already got Mountains, let's give them another. But I think that the reason they did it was because that's how the movie ends. And so I think that was their rationale. But I in real time, I was grooving with it. But yeah, I thought that Girls and Boys was so funky that I'll come around that way of thinking. If you're talking about releasing bangers, I set up. Yeah, but I can come around to that, to saying that I think it would have been a banger. I do wonder, and y'all can, as y'all answer the question, I often wonder how the end of the Girls and Boys video, because I talked to a lot of people who were casual Prince fans back in the day, and they didn't get the ending of the Girls and Boys video. Like a lot of people thought it was strange. A lot of the casual fans thought it was strange because they didn't get the boo. And then Jerome just started and I guess they didn't really understand the interplay between Tricky and Christopher and that whole thing. And Christopher is the straight man and Tricky is the jokester. So, but I remember a lot of people not understanding the end of that video, and I think that may have, but yeah. So I set up. Yeah, I guess I come back to say I think, I'd have been cool with Girls and Boys being the second video. I set up.
So, but Stone Freak is saying that he thinks that Mountains hurt the momentum of the Parade LP.
I can tell you why they probably did Mountains as a second single, and not Girls and Boys. This is what Sheila said. Like Girls and Boys is like a funk song. Kiss was a funk song.
Right.
Mountains played to the MTV audience. Like Mountains is like a pop song.
Yep.
And so the suits involved, probably were like, okay, we need something for pop radio.
Yeah.
Or like we need a pop song because you're a pop star and we need, something in the Raspberry Berets vein, something that's going to give us still kind of speak to that audience. Because if Kiss was for the brothers, then Mountains was for the MTV Middle America, Sheridan, Wyoming folks, to kind of be like, oh yeah, okay, he makes music for us too, type deal. I agree with Stone Freak. I think Girls and, well, first of all, I like both songs. I like both videos because they showed the new revolution. And so I was happy to see what the new band was going to look like because we were hoping for a tour. So I was happy with that. But yeah, I mean, in hindsight, like looking back, I think it probably would have been better if Girls and Boys was the second single. Just for momentum purposes, because it doesn't get a lot of play in, say, the movie. It's like a little dance sequence and then it stops. I think whereas Mountains plays out at the end of the movie. So like we see that video. So I think that, yeah, I mean, in hindsight, they probably should have done that.
I would going back to, I think Carol said it earlier when she saw Girls and Boys in the movie, and I kind of think this way too. That was one of the high points of the movie, just in the context of what we knew of Prince at that time. What our expectations of seeing him on the big screen. Purple Rain being the frame of reference, and they blew us away, those musical performances, and to not really see the musical performances that we probably expected in that movie. So when you see Girls and Boys with the song is super catchy, anybody can get into it. It's different enough, but it's the same enough. Like, yo, that's Prince, but that's Prince doing some Paris type shit. What you expect him to do, looking at the movie, and he does it well. Like, you want it to continue, right? Like, you don't want that to be over, and you would love that some of the other songs would. Is there a way that he's going to perform them in the movie too? And I say all that to say, I think when you're going back to these single choices and just the tone of the album itself, and even the tone of the previous album, I think they were deliberate attempts, as kind of what Ricky said, to cater to a different pop audience than what his base and where he really comes from is. And for good or bad, I think that's why some of these songs don't get the shine when you think it would be an obvious choice to put out Girls and Boys. That was banging. Like anybody would hear that and could get into it. It's so easy to sing, and it's so infectious. It regardless if it's a pop song. I think what they didn't realize, and I think the industry realized later, those same people that they were trying to appeal to on MTV with, oh, let's give them what we think is a pop song. I think they really got into Prince off of his classic funk type R&B, the real shit, as they would see it, like the black shit. That's really what they respond to. And if you came into the game that way, your core audiences already wants to hear that's what they know of you of. But I think, he was expanding out and let me change my image, give them a different sound that I think would be more, easy to digest in terms of its, pop. It isn't so R&B or whatever. But I think what happens with that is when you have these songs, Girls and Boys, Alexa, Love or Money, you would think, well, those would obviously be on the album. Like, these would be a no-brainer. It would no-brainer. But I think because, he was like, yeah, I'm trying to do this other thing. Let me go with these different choices and present myself a little different. I think for good or bad. But I think by the time he got to Sign of the Times, and it wasn't selling probably what he thought it was going to sell, let me go back to, my stuff that y'all, let me give you more of this instead of the more artistic, I would say, sort of approach that I think he took on these two albums, which were dope. But I just think in terms, I think actually the audience, his audience, no matter if they were the pop audience or the black audience, they wanted that other stuff because that's what they knew. But I can understand from a business point of view how they probably thought, we can appeal and present him in this way. But I think when you see the movie, what makes the movie work to me is that Christopher Tracy is the hood dude. He is black. He's not, even though he's doing the poetry stuff, he's doing it as if we would have done it. You know what I mean? So I think that it's just a confusing sort of presentation that sometimes some of the songs kind of get lost because, yeah, Girls and Boys is on the album. Should have been a second single. Love or Money should have been on the album, personally, in my opinion. Same with Alexa de Paris. And I think they should have gotten proper sort of videos and pushes as well. But Girls and Boys did have a video. Didn't the
Right.
video was on the premiere party, right?
Yeah.
When we first saw it. So
Yeah. And I want to say,
Yep.
I don't want to run by something Brother Dean said too quickly. Being in the theater on opening night, and again, I'm in the theater. I'm in the black side of town, but being in the theater on opening night, the one really positive response I remember that night is the Girls and Boys scene. Like I remember, in fact, I remember dude sitting like right behind me when he kicked in. I just remember this brother go, "That's the shit." Like I remember, I just always remember that. So yeah, so I just want people to realize, and I don't know if that's how it was in other theaters for other people, but I just remember that moment being the highlight for a lot of people in the theater. I said,
just to throw one more sort of story like that, I used to work at McDonald's, Rainier Beach McDonald's in the hood. And I remember we were working one night. Hilarious. And I remember some of the finest girls from our school came walking in one night. McDonald's, of course, they were in my same grade. But what were they doing? They was going, they were singing Girls and Boys.
"Oh wow!"
And I was shocked. I was like, wow, because Prince was kind of like not the most popular kind of at that point in the school.
Right.
But I was like, yo, okay. And I was like, they know that song. I was like, I was just tripping. I always remember that. Man, the fine girls are singing that. And they weren't singing the other songs, but that was the one song that kind of did break through. So,
I mean, it's got that catchy hook for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, look, I got to head out.
All right, man.
It's great, man.
Thank
Great,
you
everybody in
for
the chat. Yeah, check y'all out, man. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a great one. Everybody be safe, be wild. Release it. Okay, the Exodus has begun.
Man, have a good weekend, man.
Yeah, take care, brother. Good seeing you as always.
Yeah. All right, man. Look, y'all be easy.
All right. So, are you still? Yeah, you just left. So,
I gotta take a pause. Sorry.
No problem. All right. So, okay, there are several things in the chat that I wanted to talk about. First, I think Kim's comment about maybe we were supposed to buy the LP is a really important comment because at that time, albums mattered,
Yep.
right? So that's one thing. The other thing is that Smitty Rock put in that Girls and Boys peaked at number 11 in the UK, but it was not released as a single in America. Technically, it was the third single from Parade, but not in the US. And I always thought that was odd. I wonder why they didn't choose to also release it in the US as well as the UK, but for whatever reason, they didn't. And then the other thing,
and make a video for it, right?
Yeah.
Like, made a video for it, but didn't release it as a single. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's very, very odd. And then the other thing that a couple people, including Rodney, hi Rodney, I hope you're well, is
Brother Fitzgerald.
Old Friends for Sale.
Mm.
Now, do we think that Old Friends for Sale should have been on Parade or a B-side?
If not on the album, B-side for sure.
Yeah, I wish it would have been a B-side. I don't think it would have fit on the album just thematically, right, lyrically. But yeah, just for selfish reason, yeah, I'd have liked for Old Friends for Sale to have been a B-side somewhere because I'm one of those people that I like the one that's I think on the vault, but the original Old Friends for Sale for me is just so classic and so emotive that I think we missed getting that in real time as a B-side. I think Prince had something to say. He had something that was emotionally resonating with him. So yeah, I really wish we'd got that as a B-side as opposed to that edited lyric change one that we got a few years later. That's it.
Yeah, I would add, I think that song should have been on the record, and I think that was one of his most important songs in that period. If only for the things he's talking about, because it's most personal.
Yep.
Probably the most personal he's ever been on a record like that. And the fact musically what it was doing, I think that would have blew people away to hear him on a music like that. from everything that we knew of him at that time, for him to flip it, I actually think that song and that style, along with how he looked at that time, would have been the catalyst, in my opinion, for that entire period to really set it off, because it would have been like, he's not being Hollywood. He's actually keeping it a buck, and we don't know much about him, and he's addressing all this sort of foolishness that's being talked about out him at the time, and he didn't speak very often. I think if you would have put that out, that would have been a flag planted in his career at that moment. That would have been one of the moments like, yo, remember, he went in, he was talking about Moors, and then how dope the music was. And I can see him on the Grammys or something performing that, full Christopher Tracy. That would have been crazy. Like, it would have just been one of them songs that I know the critics would have been, they'll lost their mind. I know the hardcore fans who really followed him would have lost their mind to hear what he was talking about. I think that song I think it was a missed opportunity, period. Even the fact that it was mentioned in that Rolling Stone article had already sort of set the stage for like, well, what is this song? What is
Right.
it? I just think if it would have dropped with the orchestra, like, yo, it's coming out like he was fake smoking or something with the right sunset on the mountain, saying that, man,
Yes, indeed.
Lost it, man. We like, he on some blues orchestra cinematic type.
And you get the best of both Prince worlds, right? You get the ish talking Prince and the really melancholy Prince, right? Usually melancholy Prince is an ish talking Prince, right? But he talking ish and he's sorrowful, right? So you're getting like, this is as close. Now, well, I'll put it this way. This is as close to a blues song without it being a blues song. Does that make sense? Like, this is, when you think raw emotion, that's it. I just want to add that piece. Like, I wish we'd have got this in real time. Because I'm with you, Brother Dean. The critics would have dissected those lyrics, and I think that would have given people a window into some things. And as much, I want to be clear, as much as I love Hello as the response, like Hello is my jam, I love at the end when he's talking ish. When you mentioned that, Brother Dean, I think that Old Friends for Sale may have been an even better response, simply because people would have seen it as more sincere, because Hello is the middle.
Humanized him a little bit better. It would have humanized him. Like, yo, he's a real person. Okay.
Exactly. And Old Friends Sale ain't a middle finger, right? Hello is a middle finger, right? Hello is, go to where. But thank you, Brother Fitzgerald. It's testimony. I'll shut up.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. One is so Duke Swan has this comment about
Honest Man.
Yeah, Honest Man and Uninsured Moon film cues. Like, so okay, this is my Dear Estate moment. I would love if we get a Parade Super Deluxe, and I hope that we do, that we get the entire score from the film. That would be incredible. So that's my Dear Estate moment of the day, and I mean that sincerely. But I want to get back to this.
Wait, can I do a Dear Estate moment?
Sure, yeah, of course.
Dear Estate, I want the 1986 New Morning Paris soundboard, edited, and I want it for the whole thing, but I particularly want it for Honest Man. That is the most beautiful version of Honest Man I have ever heard. I need that version of Honest Man in my life. That's it. Back to our regular scheduled program.
All right. So I put this up, but I don't think we addressed this. Do you feel that Mountains hurt the momentum of Parade?
That's a good question. I would say that, and this is going to be really crazy because I'm going to name another song that's now a classic. That's a hood classic. I don't know if Mountains hurt the momentum of Parade as bad as If I Was Your Girlfriend hurt the momentums of Sign of the Times. And the irony is, If I Was Your Girlfriend is not just a Prince classic staple, it's a hood classic. So, like, I remember there being talk around. Like, I remember people talking about in real time, If I Was Your Girlfriend hurting the momentum of Sign of the Times, to where there wasn't really that kind of talk about Mountains. But I can understand where Stone Freak and others are coming from, that if they say Girls and Boys or another song would have kind of continued. I will say that, here's what I will say. we didn't get a bump in sales or excitement from Mountains. That's what I'll say. Like, Mountains didn't increase the trajectory of the album. So you could say that because it didn't increase the trajectory of the album, then you could make that argument. That's what I'll say. I'll shut up.
Mountains was the second single.
Yeah, it was the second one after Kiss.
Yeah, I would say I think Mountains contributes to it, but I think the movie probably played a bigger thing to that. I can't remember if it came out before the album or the movie or not, but I just think once that movie hit, unless you were dropping banger songs, I don't think anything was gonna save that record. Unfortunately, not to say the album was great; those songs are great. I just don't think that Mountains sort of is an easy bite for somebody at that time,
right?
To get into.
Right.
It wasn't an easy bite for me, and I was a Prince fan. I learned to like it. When the 12-inch came out, then I loved it. But I can imagine if I was just a casual, and I'm just going by what was the pop hits at the time, and Kiss, yeah, oh, that's great, that's Prince. And then when you heard Mountains, I would probably been like, man,
right,
I don't know what's going on here.
And I think Blade Brown raises a good question with what you had penned. I do think that the general reception to the album caused a lot of people to kind of walk away. And we're not going to get into because that was the problem with the movie. You got musical issues, and then you got people, core audience, wondering what's going on with our hood hero. You got those two things. So you just got music that's just not for that core audience is just not what they were expecting. And then is he still our hood hero? And I think when you combine those two things, and then just it's in black and white. It's not a shoot 'em up, bang bang. It's not a lot of cussing, not a lot of violence. There's not a lot of chasing. Like there's it's a very kind of avant-garde type film, right? And it's an avant-garde type film from people who don't know that Prince really is Jamie Starr. So if you don't know that Prince really is Jamie Starr, then you don't know, you feel like he's putting on, you feel like he's being something else, right? And not being able to. So I think all of that. So I think to Brave Brown's point, I do think that the movie did hurt the momentum of the album. And I would simply say that it also shows the power of the song Kiss. Because Kiss was an instant classic and remained a classic through all of that. And so I think that everything that is true. But if we're going to say that, then we also have to say, and this shows just what a great song Kiss is, because Kiss was able to weather that and kind of be separated out from that, and it's considered a classic song. I'll shut up.
Yeah, even if you look at the history of soundtracks to the movies, a lot of times the soundtracks outlive the movies.
Yep.
We don't even think about. You think about one of the greatest soundtracks that came out of the 90s, Above the Rim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that album, you don't even have to see the movie, and most people don't even talk about the movie, even though it has Tupac on it. But the album far outshines what we remember culturally of the movie. And in some way, I would say Superfly is the same sort of thing. I didn't see Superfly until I was adult, but I knew the album through and through because it was just a staple. It outshined it, and I think Parade outshines the movie in the long term.
Yeah.
And then the movie, like somebody said, you come around to appreciating the movie when you sort of catch up to it. But I think so my point is to say that album could have still sold bonkers with the right choices on the singles and the video presentation, regardless of how the audience took that movie. They could have just cast off the movie, but if they would have dropped Girls and Boys or Another Lover with a proper video, and he was on TV performing, it would have still, to me, it would have gave you everything you still loved about Prince, and it would have worked. Not to say it didn't work, but I'm just saying, like, I think the albums can can outlast. Graffiti Bridge. I love that album. The movie, not so much. I still listen to that album, but I don't go back and really watch that movie very often. But the album can outpace the movie. Purple Rain almost tied hand in hand to
Right,
it.
exactly,
They were both great.
Exactly. I agree.
So Democracy Fund Defense Force really wants us to talk about There's Others Here With Us. We've talked about it a couple of times on previous shows earlier this year, because we're going in sequence. Like we're reading this book, and we actually we're just on. We haven't even gotten to Tuesday yet. We're still on Monday. So do you want to say, Celie, a couple of things about There's Others Here With Us?
Yeah, that damn bootleg scared the hell out of me first time I heard it. Like, I'm just being honest with you. First time I heard that, I love experimental Prince. I love, and that screeching in the damn back. What is that screeching? And that screeching in the back. Now, that being said, once I got past the screeching, once I got past the kind of, and I'll tell you what There Are Others Here With Us did for me as a bootleg. It prepared me for the song The Future. Like, I know a lot of people don't hear those two when they hear them. So I'm not as big of a There's Others Here. Like it's on my playlist. Like, for those of you who don't know, my playlist is, I have the album, and then I have the B-sides, and then I have the outtakes. So that's how I listen to every Prince album. So I got the Parade album, then I got all of the B-sides, and then toward the end I got the out. So There's Others Here With Us. That's at the bottom of that list. So I listen to it every time I listen to Parade, and it took me a minute. Like I said, and I'll be honest with you, it's still kind of eerie to me. Mm-hmm. But now y'all have to also understand, I wrote a whole big ass book about lyrics. So I like it lyrically because it's Prince articulating his spiritual side. Thank you, Prof. Duff, for that. So mm-hmm. I love the lyrics of There's Others Here With Us. I had to get into the music, and I appreciate the music. I did not know that book. I will say this. I'll only say this. Do you know when I realized how big that book was?
Actually, so if you do this, and then you do this, there you go.
I did not know.
You might need to be reading that book every week.
Look, I did not know how big that book was until the first time I hit print. Not like back in the day you're working. I hit print, Brother Dean. And I ran out of paper. And I had to, I wasn't paying attention.
See that?
Because like when you working and you just into it and you finally get to the end, and I hit print and I ran out of paper and I said, how many goddamn paper? And I saw the page and I was like, oh, and this is, everybody gonna know this because they were talking about this movie a bit. One of my favorite lines, and I don't even like the movie that much, but one of my favorite lines from this movie is, "We gonna need a bigger boat."
Oh, what is that movie?
Jaws.
Yes.
Jaws. We gonna need a bigger boat. And so when I hit print, I was like, I'm gonna need bigger paper, right? So
you need more ink.
There you go. We're gonna need more ink. There you go. Saying all that to say that I really like There Are Others Here With Us. It grew on me, but the lyrical content I like. But I will say that it's still pretty scary. I'll shut up.
So I'm trying to put this. Someone wants to know how to get your book. Like, do you want me to put like
if you go to Amazon and type in the lyrics of Prince, it should pop up. So if you go to Amazon.com and if you go to Amazon, I know that everybody's talking about Jaws this year. That's my favorite line. We're gonna need a bigger boat. So if you go to Amazon.com and type in either Celie McInnes or the lyrics of Prince, you can get it from Amazon. It should pop up.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
get that book
to see that's the cover that Celie's wife did, right?
No, actually, I actually drew that. I drew that cover when I was in. So you go to basic training, then after basic training, you go to AIT, and so you go 8 weeks of basic training in the military, and then you go to AIT. Now I shouldn't be saying currently unavailable. Hold on, let me check on Amazon. I'll check for you right quick. Y'all talk amongst yourselves now.
Okay. So, Michael, do you have anything you want to say about Others Here With Us?
No.
You're good? Okay.
You got to move along.
Yeah. So let's get to Tuesday. Hey, do you mind, Michael, reading about Tuesday, July 9th?
All right. Yeah. All right. Girls and boys, horn overdubs mix. Love or Money, horn overdubs mix. Love or Money instrumental mix. Washington Avenue Warehouse, Edina, Minnesota. Producer Prince, artist Prince, engineers Susan Rogers and David Tickle. Quote, no quote,
No quote.
no quote. All right. I remember the afternoon that I did my parts for Girls and Boys and Love or Money. And I was literally sitting on one of the band risers coming up with the parts, recalled Eric Leeds. Continue that part? Or?
Yes, continue it. But before you do, I just looked it up on Amazon and you can still get it.
That's what it says. You can get it by, it says you can get it by July 20th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead, Michael.
All right. I had the tracks. I had the tracks being blasted back at me through the entire PA system, and I was recording literally with no headphones, no isolation, nothing. I did my parts for Girls and Boys and Love of Money, and there were people running about because rehearsal had just broken up. We had a pool table and a ping pong table in the corner, and Prince was playing pool while I was sitting recording, and he was yelling at me when I would come up with the part that he liked. Yeah, I like that. Keep that. I'm about to wear your ass out on this ping pong table. No, anyway, while we're recording. And poor Susan Rogers was going crazy trying to keep all this isolation, and there was none. It was just completely spontaneous. Spontaneous?
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous. And it was a ball. This is how to make music. So literally, those horn parts and solos on those were completely mine. In fact, on Love or Money, he went back and took my horn solo and then overdubbed some accompanying orchestrations to it. Wow, that's interesting. It sounds like it's so chaotic but dope at the same time and just real.
Yeah.
There's a lot of music that has horns on it, points out Leeds, who recalls that this was the first time he played baritone sax for Prince. The horn arrangements are very nice to listen to, but if they weren't there, you really wouldn't miss them. And I try to go beyond that. And on songs like Girls and Boys, I think I've achieved that. Because when a lot of people think of Girls and Boys, they think of that baritone line. Without that, it's not the same song. Love or Money, the same thing. Talking shit, Eric. Eric doubled up some of the sax and added flute to Love or Money. A quick mix of the two tracks was completed, including an instrumental of Love or Money, and the session was over for the night. Right.
All right. So Ricky's asking who played on the ping pong table at Paisley Park. Prince did. Who you think?
He was probably killing everybody too.
Right. Right.
All right. So
let me ask y'all this.
Yeah.
Based on what Brother Dean just read.
And Edina, Christina.
Edina.
Edina.
That's why that's the first place I stayed when I went to go do my research. And y'all know what? Y'all know the famous Perkins restaurant with my homeboy from Natchez, Mississippi, Alexander O'Neal.
Well, no, it's Alexander need more paper.
That's right, Alexander need more paper. Alex gonna need a house. Alex gonna need more paper. Alex gonna need. So I'm gonna work on this steak. All right. So Monica and I before I knew that story, we actually ate at that Perkins every day in 94 and 95. So when the story came out, they were talking about that Perkins restaurant. I was like, hey, do you remember? And then it was like in Edina. She was like, yeah. I was like, I think that's the famous Alex need more paper O'Neal. So yeah. So we ate at that Perkins without knowing that that's the story where it all went down. But my question to y'all, this actually really, like, I already have the highest respect for Eric Leeds, right? This is interesting because he's kind of helping compose these lines, and I'm juxtaposing that with later.
Sorry.
Horns would get added to stuff. So for instance, I never liked post 1992. So going into 93, I never liked how like horns sounded on 1999. It made it sound kind of Vegas.
I agree. You're talking now, C. Lee.
so but this makes me think about what that fine art. Like Eric is like, I'm like you saying, Brother Dean. Eric is talking his ish, but it's important that he's talking his ish because it really is an art form. You can't just throw horns on everything. And the fact that both Eric and Prince in this part of their relationship knew what would work and what wouldn't work, versus when you get post 92, there will be horns on a lot of things live that just didn't work for me. And I was wondering if you guys had the same thing. I'll sit up.
EA says, leave my horns alone.
Not bad, EA. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm definitely with you because we're out of time, and I don't want to pull up the community disagreements this week again. I won't say what I really want to say.
Please say what you want to say.
There you go.
No.
Come on. I hate when people say, I could say it. Yes.
I do too, Michael Dean. So I'm going to say it. Okay. So remember our community agreements. We choose to get along even when we disagree. All right, here we go. So I'm definitely with Celie. Anytime that there was a pre-horn, like real horn line in a Prince song, and then he had horns do the line, I didn't like it. That's number one.
Can you like which era?
So 1992 played live after. 1999 played live after 91. So anytime like you get to like the end of Diamonds and Pearls, the end of Act 1 and moving on, those horns sounded real cheesy and almost like extra Vegas-y to me, that I was like, yeah, those horns don't really belong there. And here's the other thing. By that time, and I don't think Prince gets credit for this, and if people in the chat, and you two correct me, I think one of the things for which Prince doesn't get enough credit is turning keyboards and synthesizers into their own instrument, where they began mimicking horns, right? But they went from mimicking horns to becoming instruments with their own sound. So that when you listen to 1999 and Purple Rain and Around the World in a Day and Parade, those keyboards and synthesizers are no longer impersonating horns. They are their own sounds, right? Look at I'm saying, look, and I love the horn heads. I want everybody to know I love the horn heads, right? So I love the horn heads. I love MPG. Man, hearing them horns on 1999 post 91, I would just always be like, okay, it just didn't ever sound right. I set up.
Okay, so I'm going to dig an even deeper hole because Michael Dean told me to talk my talk. So talk my talk. All right. So everybody and their mama should know I love me some Eric Leeds and Alana Bliss. To me, they were the perfect horn section to Prince's music, bar none.
Agree.
That is me. So they were totally fine on the Love Sexy tour.
Yeah, sexy.
Because it's Eric Leeds and Alana Bliss. Now, when you talk about the horn heads, I love the horn heads in terms of they're amazing musicians, but they're not Eric Leeds and Alana Bliss.
I ain't mad at that. Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
But also, to your point about Love Sexy, it's also how you're being. There you go. It's how you're being used, right? When you look at what Eric Leeds and Alana Bliss are doing on the Love Sexy tour, the horns are not trying to replace anything on the Love Sexy tour. When you get to Diamonds and Pearls and post Diamonds and Pearls, the horns are actually replacing the synth and keyboard lines. Those are different things. There's a difference between adding flourishes and adding flavor, right? They're not changing the sound. So I'm with you that they're not changing the sound. And I want to be clear. This is not, I'm like, I love the horn heads. I just only think that there were times where horns would replace keyboard lines and replace synthesized lines, and it felt plastic to my ear. That's the best way I could describe it, that I would have much rather heard the keyboard, because those keyboards were their own sounds. I'll shut up.
Now, when it comes to the Glam Slam show that was released on the Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe,
Yep.
incredible performance.
Yes.
So I got a lot of love and respect for Hornheads after that. But for me, and then you have to understand, I know people love the Hornheads, and that is your prerogative. You should love them, love them, love them, love them. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm just talking about, for me, when Prince started having more than 2 horns on the stage, it got too much and it got too Vegas-y for me, particularly if you take the Glam Slam show off of the table in the later years. So like, I just loved it when it was just Eric and Atlanta Bliss.
And it's I don't know if it's ironic or apropos that 2 or 3 years running up to that, one of Prince's favorite cues was Vegas.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost feel like that's where he wanted to go with it.
Yeah. Well, I love this Vegas cue. I really do. But like, there was a point where he started to sound Vegas, and I'm just digging my hole. I did not go to see Prince in Vegas because I did not want to see Prince in Vegas. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
It's funny how that has shifted. Now everyone runs to Vegas.
To Vegas. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So,
Prince was just early with it.
Yep.
He was mad early with it.
yes. All right. So I know Kim is like, y'all folks. Okay, here we go. So we're going on to Wednesday, July 10th. I'm going to read it because it's super fast. And it's about Pop Life. It was released on July 10th, 1983 with Hello, Hello, Hello. I should have made a little thing for that, but I didn't. Was released as the second U.S. single from Around the World in a Day. It reached number 8 on the Black chart and number 7 on the pop chart. And we have to remember our brother Turnbull. Prince was working in 2 timelines. The world is on Around the World in a Day, and Prince is gone on, and he is in Parade Land. Even he's not, maybe not quite in Parade Land. Like, I don't know if he knows he's going to call this parade, but he's basically on that road. So that's Wednesday. So do you want to say anything about the Pop Life 12-inch, or we want to keep it moving because we've talked about Pop Life a lot?
Just that it was really radio friendly. The 12-inch was banging. And that's it. And radio, I know Hood Radio played Pop Life to death. That's it.
Yeah, 12. One of my favorite mixes of that song, Extended. I remember going to one of my high school dances and they played that. I was like, that was actually the first time I heard the 12-inch was at the school dance. I couldn't believe. I was like, well, I got to go get this. Got to get to the record store to pick that up. The last thing I would just say, boy, if he would have had a proper video for that, it'd have been goated. The song already goated, but it would have blew up back then. Get a video for that.
And when we get to the Paisley Park video, I can't wait to hear y'all thoughts and comments about when we get to the Paisley Park video. I want to hold it because we'll get to that later.
But actually, Michael Michael Parks has a good point in here. Do you wish someone else would have remixed Pop Life instead of the Fresh Dance mix with Sheila?
I thought it was perfect.
I loved it.
What's that part where she does the alphabet or something in the middle? La la A B C or whatever.
Yeah, la that.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah,
the sound, the tone of her voice, just I love
it. and when you get to, because Pop Life for me was one of those serious songs that people don't know are serious. Like when you listen to the lyrics, right? He's really talking about how the absence of inner peace drives you to addictions. Like that's what Pop Life is about. It's about people get high, people being shop, people have extra sex, people engross themselves in fashion overly. That it's all because we're empty and we don't have inner peace. That's what Pop Life, by the way, is the perfect bookend to the ladder. So the ladder is, right, you're looking for this spiritual journey, but to get to this spiritual journey on the ladder, you have to stop wasting time with these physical things, because these physical things are only harming you and they're not giving you the inner peace that you need. And so I bring that up because what I love about Prince's sense of humor is he gives you this really serious song on the album and gives you this really serious song about inner peace. But then at the end of it, he goes, "Is 15 minutes your best?" Right? You know, like so you get that. You his sense of humor was always there. But yeah, so I never thought about it any other way than I just love Pop Life. I'm with y'all. I love the single, I love the studio version, and I love the 12-inch.
And I was just adding, we covered this, I believe, already, and we didn't know at the time when the song came out. Pop Life is peak Purple Rain Prince.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peak.
There you go.
Purple Rain. Boy, if that would have came out as a 12-inch on that album.
So Andre is asking, how do we play our DVD off of the Super Deluxe, Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe? I already had, so I had a PlayStation. But I didn't have a PlayStation for me. I had it for my little cousin who liked to play games. So I could play Blu-rays or DVDs in my PlayStation. But I wanted a real Blu-ray to play my. So I actually bought me a real Blu-ray player. And then I've never experienced FOMO before until Darlene Nisi was talking about her sound system and listening to the Atmos mix. So in addition to getting this Blu-ray player, I got the same. I asked Kanisa, I was like, "What you get?" And so I got the same that Kanisa got, so I can listen to the Atmos version of the Diamonds and Pearls. So if you haven't listened to the Atmos version of Diamonds and Pearls, which you can do on your headphones, if you have the proper headphones and, like if you're streaming off of something like Spotify or whatever, you can hear the Atmos version. But if you haven't heard the Atmos version of Diamonds and Pearls, you haven't lived, as someone told me one time.
And I'll just add to that. I had a Blu-ray because I'm Mr. Physical. So I had a Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray I had, it couldn't play the Diamonds and Pearls. So I had to go get another. So literally in my TV room, living room, I'm so old school. I have 3 DVD players. I got a regular DVD player, I got a Blu-ray there, and I got the 4K. Like they're all on top of each other with the HMDI cord going to the so. Because I also, as y'all know, I make a lot of my own DVD stuff, and I keep that and I mix and match those. So yes, I literally got. Remember how folks used to have the VCRs stacked on each other, on top of each other? Because we used to make
remember.
So just like I had back in the day, I had the VCR stacked on top of each other. I have 3 DVD players: a regular one, a Blu-ray, and the 4K. Because again, it wouldn't play in my Blu-ray. That's it.
Okay, Rodney. So Michael Dean, do you know about what Rodney's talking about here with Plex?
I think I've heard of that. Is that some sort of storage system where you can put all the media on and it streams it or something? That's as far as I know about it.
Break it down for us, Rodney. I don't know about Plex.
Yeah, lighten us, Brother Fitzgerald.
So a lot of people have bought a Blu-ray player to play the DVD, and it's totally worth it.
Oh, we're talking about the Diamonds and Pearls, the album DVD?
No, but we were talking about
the concert.
The concert.
Oh, the concert.
But I was also talking about the Atmos version.
Gotcha.
That's on Blu-ray, which is separate from the. It didn't come with the deluxe box set. You had to buy it separately because it was released on Blu-ray. The Atmos version. I
just play it on. I have a 4K player, so I put it on that. It actually upscales it a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah. So TP does Plex as well, and it says Plex is a media library where you stream your own content. Okay, I gotta check out Plex. Thank you so much, Rodney and TP.
So let me ask you a question. Is Plex, how do I want to say this? Is Plex more like your own personalized cloud, or is Plex more something like Tidal or something like that? So is it like if you buy like I'm thinking, is Plex like your external driver that you own, or is Plex a third party that somebody else owns and you could just stuff on it? So that would be my question. You guys can drop that when y'all get ready.
I don't know, Rodney. You just schooling me today. I don't know what NAS storage is. Michael, do you know what NAS storage is?
No, going deep.
Okay, run it on a 4K projector and screen. And TP is saying yes, it's your own.
Right, so it's your own cloud. Okay, cool.
Or your own server. Okay, we gotta look out Plex, and then I gotta do some studying after this session. So
Plex equals YouTube.
I don't. It doesn't sound like it because. Yeah. All right. So just really quickly, I know we need to read Wednesday, and Celia, I'm going to get you to read about Wednesday. Well, actually, I'm gonna have Michael Dean read about Wednesday. Read it. But before we do, someone asked in the chat what we're reading. We are reading Prince, basically, and the Parade and Sound of Times era studio sessions, 1985 and 1986 by Duane Tudahl. This is our third year of reading a Duane Tudahl book. The first book we read was this one,
Yes,
which is Prince and the Purple Rain era studio sessions, 1983 and 1984. We started reading this in 2023, and we read it for 2 years because we were going week by week. And I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it was. So yeah, and we're up to our 131st episode today. So that's why we're here every week on Saturday.
Hey, you can tell. Did you hear that thump when she put it down? You can tell how big that was. You hear that thump? Thump. Like, damn.
Yeah.
I took that as she was like, ask me about what we doing.
What you think we read?
Goes in. You don't know what you click on.
Michael, go ahead and read.
All right. Wednesday, July 10th, 1985. Happy birthday, Mr. Christian. Transfer. Sunset Sound Studio 2, 7:45 p.m. through 8 p.m. Booked. 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Producer, none listed. Artist, Apollonia 6. Apollonia? Engineer, Mike Colster. I'm sorry, the train. Just giving a little audio.
I love the train. Michael, I grew up on a train track.
Okay.
And whenever I hear a train track, I think of my grandparents. So I'm loving that train.
And also for you. And also, Brother Dean, we live close to a train track where we live now. We looked at this house 4 times and didn't know that damn train track was there. And the night we moved in at 1 a.m, we heard the damn train. So it's not bad like that. But so yeah, so I've gotten used to hearing the train where I live. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I've tuned it out, but I'm surrounded by train track. Anyway, the quote. No quote?
No, we're gonna skip it.
All right. Prince was not in Los Angeles during this session, so it is likely that he requested a transfer of this song for the Apollonia 6 video project that was being created to promote their album. Apollonia remembers how he brought it to them. Prince said, "We're going to make a video." And we first thought it was going to be for Sex Shooter. And he says, "No, we'll probably do like a whole bunch of videos." We were like, okay. And then we talked about attaching it and making it all one story, like a mini movie. The collection included all 6 of the tracks from their 1984 album and featured Brenda Bennett, Susan Munshi, and Apollonia, as well as Ricky Nelson, Heidi Wilson, and Buck Henry. What else a called name?
Sounds like an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. All right. So what do we want to say? I mean, I will say, I guess we should have another Dear Estate moment. So I'll do that really quickly. Dear Estate, I really wish that there would be an Apollonia 6 Super Deluxe with the Apollonia 6 album remastered with Prince's versions, also like, like originals, in addition to this mini movie. So that's what I would love to have. So how do we feel about the mini movie?
Hated it. No, I'm just. I've only seen it once.
That's a thumbs down.
Oh my God.
I need to watch it again. I saw it a couple years ago. I was like, okay, this is cool. But I don't know. I was expecting more, I guess.
Yeah, I thought it was too 80s. Like, it's very 80s. It actually reminds me, I know all of you saw The Last Dragon.
Yes.
With Vanity.
Yes.
And the other artist, I can't remember what her name was, but she had like the blonde hair and it was colored and she was trying to create like a single or something. Like, you guys don't remember her?
Oh, wait, she came out through Paisley Park?
No, I'm talking about in The Last Dragon.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember.
So in The Last Dragon, there's this whole sub thread of a plot which I don't like, and it's about this woman who was trying to, get a record recorded. So they kind of show her in the studio and all that.
Okay.
And like the mood of the Apollonia 6 mini movie reminds me of her own that whole subplot.
Okay.
And hearing that you both don't even remember that lets you know how bad that was, because I was like, this could have been a really classic film, and it is because of Show Enough, but it could have been like an even more classic film if they would have removed that whole subplot out. So was she the producer? Thank you. Yeah, she was the producer. I always said that she was not the producer and that she was trying to get her own record deal or something. Yes.
It would have been super interesting if they would have sort of played it off of the movie a little bit, if it was the same sort of character personality that we saw in the movie. And in my mind, when I think of the album, I'm thinking of Apollonia from the movie. When I remember that little mini movie, I didn't feel like they were acting like, how I thought their personalities were. I thought that was something different or something. So it kind of took me out of it a little bit, but I haven't seen it in a long time either. So,
and also it was very, there's a lot of artifice to it, meaning like you could tell that they were in a studio.
Mm-hmm.
None of the sets were real.
Right.
Graffiti Bridge.
Exactly. Graffiti Bridge. It just made it feel really artificial. So I didn't really connect with it personally.
I will only say this. For your own physical safety, if you're ever in the presence of my wife, never ever say anything bad about two movies, Imitation of Life and Enter the Dragon. Not Enter the Dragon, The Last Dragon.
Enter the
Dragon is Bruce Lee, yeah. But my wife loves Imitation of Life so much that I had to buy her the special edition.
Which version?
She likes because I have to remember because there are two versions. There's the 40 something 50, like they're like 10 or 15 years apart, right? And so she likes the most recent version, but she has both because she loves them. So that was, I got her that for it had to be because we don't really do holidays or something. But I remember I got the DVD. It was a special anniversary, had both versions. And so that and The Last Dragon, my wife loves those two movies. And so I tell anybody, for their own physical safety, never say nothing bad about Bruce Leroy and Show Enough.
I won't say anything bad about those two. It's but we found out it was the producer's girlfriend who wanted to be a pop star. I hated that whole subplot.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, and like you said, we don't remember it, so.
Yeah. All right. So, Celia, do you mind reading about Wednesday, July 10th, 1985? Yes.
Neon Telephone, instrumental, tracking overdubs mix. God is everywhere, tracking overdubs mix. Washington Avenue Warehouse, Edina, Minnesota. Producer Prince, artist Prince and the Revolution, engineer Susan Rogers and David Thickel. Quote from Prince. When I talk about God, I don't mean some dude in a cape and a beard coming down to earth. To me, he's in everything if you look at it that way. End quote. Using Sheila, Wendy, Lisa, Susanna, and probably Matt Fink, Prince put together a gospel-sounding track called God is Everywhere, a song that detailed his religious views. Like Lisa reveals that Prince was always seeking out a higher power and how he filtered it into his philosophy. This is Lisa talking, quote, he read magazines like crazy and he always wanted to be up on everything, fashion and everything. But he also read a lot of self-help books. He read religion. He read things about the mind, and he was really interested in how humans function. But at the same time, he did like self-editing. He did like self-editing of what he read. He took from it whatever he wanted and left out the rest. End quote. This is Prince quote again. I'm studying religion and philosophy. Prince said in 97. Can continue. That's what I want my music to reflect. It's hard to put that in a pop song. End quote. Prince would occasionally dip into gospel sounding music, but in the overall span of his career, it was just another place that he could spend some time mastering before he moved on. Bobby Z explains, what genre didn't he have a knack for is the question you got to ask. At any given moment, there can be a blues jam or a rockabilly jam or fusion jam, or any given day, the music was all over the place. End quote. Prince also worked on a playful song he'd written called Neon Telephone, backed by the Revolution, with Bobby on tambourine. The track is another song about a long distance relationship, a theme he visited in Bedtime Story, 17 Days, I Love You a Million Miles, and How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore. I'll come back to that, How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore. The title was likely inspired by a telephone that he owned that would become a prop for Mary Sharon character in Under the Cherry Moon. As Susan Rogers recalls, quote, I remember the telephone that he had. It was one of those clear bodied ones where you could see the wires and different color components inside of it. When I think of the song, I think of the telephone in his home office in the house on Kiowat. Oh Lord.
Kawa.
Thank you. I don't know why I drew a blank. Cowa Trail. Neon Telephone was just one of those many things that that we just churned out one after another. But what a hook! What a hook! End quote. It is likely that Neon Telephone contained no lyrics by the end of this session, so an instrumental version was committed to a cassette so Prince could flesh out the lyrics. Status. Neon Telephone, 3 minutes and 41 seconds with the drum count in, was not released by Prince, but would be given to Paisley Park Records artist 3 O'Clock for their album Vermilion in 1988. God is Everyone was considered for use in Prince's upcoming movie, The Don. The track would be revisited in September, but it remained unreleased during Prince's lifetime.
All right. So I want to share really quickly this. I took a screenshot off of YouTube, and this is the 3 O'Clock version of Neon Telephone. And I love these comments. One is only 4, and the second comment says Prince should have kept it for himself. This version is way better. Then the reply to that comment, this version is awful. Then the next comment is, dear Lord, this is awful. So this pretty much, particularly the 3 O'Clock version of the telephone, I can't listen to it. So I'm assuming you agree with the 3 O'Clock version. And I don't even know why they were signed to Paisley Park. Do we know why they were signed to Paisley Park? Does anyone know? Like, how did they get on Paisley Park 3 O'Clock? Because I want to know, or maybe I knew and I let it go from my mental Rolodex. So if we take 3 O'Clock off the table, Neon Telephone, Prince's version, do you like it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Love it.
Now, do you think it would fit Under the Cherry Moon and Parade?
I could see that as a B-side.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I'm playing it in my mind. To me, that's just one of those. In my mind, I think of it as Prince, Wendy, and Lisa. I put it in the same category. I would put Hello, just in terms of the tone. Dream Factory. It just has the same vibe to me. You know, it feels it's quirky but very funky. You know, and then when they get to the end, they really let you know. Yeah, we'll flip this too, boy. What are you talking? You know, like we still got it. So to me, I've always loved that song. I'm getting a vibe that you kind of not really feeling it.
Did you get that vibe, Medical Dave?
Just a little bit.
So I like the hook, you know, like, you know, and I could see where it's a pop song. I wouldn't want Prince to do it, so I see why he gave it to another artist, but I don't think 3 O'Clock did any justice to it. But I really love Lady Crab Driver's comment about Prince wanting his own Cocteau twins for possibly why he signed 3 O'Clock. So that actually makes a lot of sense. He wanted some of that Duran Duran money, but he wasn't going to get it with 3 O'Clock.
Right. Like I'm like y'all. It's I like Prince's version. I'm not gonna say I love it, but it's catchy. It's one of those songs that when it comes on, I just bounce my head to it. You can't the kind of beat, the kind of groove, and I never thought about Cocktail Twins until that was put in the chat, and that makes a lot of sense, right? Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah. So I'm
somebody who loves the 3 o'clock. All right.
There's always one. It's always one.
What's that song? I think "Strange Way of Loving You" or something. I think it's from the 1999 era. That it reminds me of that kind of vibe.
Okay.
I can't think of the name. It's on the 1999 box set. Like "A Strange Way of Loving You" or something.
Yeah.
It just has a weird kind of Prince vibe that I actually kind of like. Like I said, to me, they just remind Starfish and Coffee, all those little songs, but they're still funky to me in their quirky little weird way. Like,
it kind of reminds me of Teacher, actually.
Yeah.
But I don't like Teacher. Like, I don't go, oh my God, I need to listen to Teacher today. I'm sorry.
Like I said, I don't. Again, and Teacher is one of those. You know how I listen to everything, so it's on that playlist. I don't turn it off. Like it's Teacher, Neon Telephone. I don't skip them. I just go like, okay, this is interesting. I will say that it's interesting, right? Because all of this speaks to just Prince's wide breadth of music, right? That as I think one of the quotes read, what couldn't he play? What didn't he play? And so it really makes me just think about a lot of times Prince even has me question if I'm a real music lover. Because I don't know if I have I don't know if I like as much different music as Prince like. And I don't even know if I like as much different music as like y'all like or other people like. So when I hear like the different types of Prince songs, it really makes me question. I say, okay, am I a music lover or am I a Prince lover, right? Or am I a music lover or do I love like 3 or 4 genres of music? Because I will say that Prince stretched me out in a lot of ways that I didn't think that I could be stretched aesthetically. That's it. I'll say it.
And I would say I think the song is just in a long line of Prince always have a song like that on an album. There's always that one song that's kind of funny. Some people call them throwaways. I just think they're like, he always does those on his albums. There's always that kind of little funny song that's kind of funny and off kilter just a little bit. I just feel like he always flexes that. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's just one of those songs. I don't think you would have a whole album of that kind of stuff, but every album, in my opinion, back then always would have that kind of.
Yeah, what's the song from Lotus Flower, MPLS? Is it No More Candy? There we go. Thank you, TP. No More Candy for You, right? And No More Candy for You. Like, I love that, both the studio and I especially love remember he was on that show, he did No More Candy for You live on that show where he did like the mini concert it was No More Candy for You and a couple other things. I really like No More Candy for You live when he did when he did the mini concert over in Europe. Anyway, that's it. I'll say it.
I will say, I mean, to this comment, I love Wendy and Lisa's voice with Prince, and more specifically, Lisa's voice with Prince. So it's not, like, I want to be clear, there's no Wendy and Lisa hating going on, because I love me some Wendy and Lisa. So I'm talking about Prince, the songwriter, when it comes to, I just did not like Neon Telephone in particular, but I could hear where it was, and it could have been a very successful pop song for someone else. I just wouldn't have wanted it to be a Prince song. Like recorded by Prince, released by Prince, even though he wrote it. I understand. Okay, so
does this sound choppy to you guys, or is it just me?
No, I think
let me back out. I'll come back in. Summer's like really choppy. Sorry.
All right. Doesn't sound choppy to me. Does it sound choppy to you?
No, I'm good.
Yeah. So I love I Wonder You. That's one of my favorite songs. So
okay. So let me say this about I Wonder You. Love it, love the studio version.
Yeah.
Love the studio version.
Me 3.
I want to say this as delicately as I can.
Uh-oh.
Love the studio version.
Okay.
The live version. I wish I could have went and got popcorn. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Like I got what they were going for. But that's one of the very few songs that didn't work live for me that I liked on I like on the record. I really liked it on the record. So I was so surprised at how much I didn't like it live. And they would come back with the whoa, 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 and then they do the breakdown, and it was just, I don't know what it was. And I was like, that's one of the very few times I was just like, huh.
Well, the same thing happens with me with Dorothy Parker. I don't really like any live version of Dorothy Parker. I only want to listen to the studio version, and that is extremely rare when it comes to Prince.
Okay.
But I'm the same. I love I Wonder You so much so that I'm going to name the symposium I Wonder You 40. I love that song, but like live, like there's some artists that I prefer to listen to live over studio, and then there's some artists that I prefer their studio recordings over seeing them live. Ricky's not here, so I can say this, but Raphael Sadiq is someone that I do not enjoy seeing live, but I love. But I love his studio recordings.
And I'll give you the opposite. I know, Brother D give the side eye, right? So I'll give you the opposite. I'll give you the opposite. I've seen Buddy Guy live over 20 times. Like in my lifetime. I've seen Buddy Guy live over 20 times. Ask me how many Buddy Guy albums I got.
0?
None. And I always wondered, because remember we had to talk about Mutt Lange and like how I learned what a producer was by listening to what he did with the Def Leppard records and all that. I always wonder why Buddy Guy didn't get a producer who could help take what he did live on record. So I'm like that. So I'm like that with, there you go, Karen. We are in a community, right? That I love Buddy Guy live. I can't think of one Buddy Guy record that moved me yet. I've never been disappointed. I've never been disappointed seeing Buddy Guy live. Never. All right, I'll shut up.
Oh, Ricky is here.
He shows up. There you go, Brother Wyatt.
Oh my God. And to be honest, like I really wanted to like him live. Now I saw Tony when they opened up for Janet Jackson. And yeah. But I was really looking forward to this Raphael Sadiq concert. And this was maybe 7 or 8 years ago. But I was like devastated that I was like, I didn't feel nothing. I felt nothing. So yeah.
So sadly,
it is getting hot in here.
Sadly, my Tony live story has nothing to do with their talent. It has everything to do with what a nice dude Dwayne Wiggins is. And I will also say, I saw them live in Jackson, Mississippi, and that was the time I learned that I'm a person, because we all have friends working different areas. And so my friend was before he passed, he was like a known lighting and sound dude for the local shows. Like he was the big lighting and sound guy when people would come. And so he was like, hey man, guess what? I said, what? He's like, I got backstage passes for you for the Tony show. And Monica and I went, and it was like, okay, cool. And that was the time I realized that backstage is the worst place ever to see a show. Like I hate being backstage. But here's my Tony thing. I'm walking back and Dwayne Wiggins literally, these were his words to me. He's like, hey bro, what's up? How you been? You good, bro? And I was looking around like, and I think he's talking to you. I was like, hey, yeah, good. Oh, bro, it's good to see you. You been all right, bro? And I don't know if he, I had my perm then, so I don't know if he confused me with somebody he knew. But when I say he was the nicest dude, like when they said never meet a stranger, he said, well, it's good. You gonna come out after the show, bro? We gonna be safe. So I said, yeah. We ended up going, like, Dwayne Wiggins was like the nicest dude. That's my Tony. He was like the nicest in the middle of the heat in Jackson, Mississippi. He was like the nicest dude. That's so yeah. R.I.P. Rest in heaven. But the nicest dude. Like I said, I don't know if it was the perm that made him think I was somebody else, but that's my Tony live story. That dude was a nice dude. Anyway, I'll shut up.
So really quickly, are there any blues artists that you feel were properly produced?
Oh yeah. Brother Andre, 2 albums. Well, go listen to the BB King. It's called Indianola Seeds album. Indianola Seeds, so Indianola, Mississippi. Listen to the Indianola Seeds album, and you'll hear what a properly produced blues album is. It says BB King, Indianola Seeds. And here's somebody else. This is a new cat. A lot of y'all don't know this cat. He's actually appears in the End of Sinners. He's in the band. There's a brother named Christone Kingfish Ingram. Now, I grew up with his family. I don't know Kingfish. I want to be clear. He's much younger than me. But I grew up with his family. He's from Clarksdale. Kingfish is a current making money, keeping the blues alive artist. All of his songs, all his albums are excellently produced. So I would say the BB King Indianola Seeds album, wonderfully produced album. Kingfish Ingram, all of his stuff is wonderfully produced. And I'll throw in one more. And just because I've been listening to this guy, and it's gonna be somebody that people may not think, and man, it just went blank. What's my man from guitar player from Austin, Texas? Not Austin. Shoot. He also had a brother had a band too.
Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I will say this about Stevie Ray Vaughan. Not a big Stevie Ray Vaughan singles kind of guy. Always love Stevie Ray Vaughan live, but his productions, Stevie Ray Vaughan's productions were always flawless. Like his albums, whoever was producing Stevie Ray Vaughan's albums, but yeah, check out Indianola Seeds by BB King, anything by Kingfish Ingram. I'll shut up. Let's move on.
All right, so I'm going to read the next thing, which is Thursday, July 11, 1985. Venue 7th Street, entry capacity, attendance unknown. And this is a quote from Sheila E. Once Prince and I started working together and recording songs, we started going to First Avenue to just play the songs to see what the fans would think. As he often was with new music, Prince wanted to quickly get a reaction from others about his recently recorded songs, so he invited Sheila E. to join him on the small stage at the 7th Street entry, which is the club connected to First Avenue, for a quick 2-song jam. Borrowing the instruments from the band Ring Theater, who were headlining that evening, Prince was like, get off the stage. I want to try out these songs. Okay, Prince played bass and sang lead on Girls and Boys and Holly Rock, as Sheila got behind their drums and sang backup on the second song. And we got to thank D68A for posting it on his channel, and it's in the accompanying playlist. So if you go to the Polished Solid YouTube channel, go all the way to the bottom, we have an accompanying playlist every week, and it's in there. So have you two listen to this. It's Boys and Girls and Holly Rock.
Sorry, muted. Yeah, I do. I've listened to this quite a bit back in the days, a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. It's not the best quality.
No, it's not.
But the quality of what they're doing is really good. I wish there were more of these types of shows in good quality, because I think there's another one where it was like Prince and Sheila doing stuff live. It always sounds great. It just sounds like they're having fun, man. Like that was my thing.
So, and then really quickly, there's a question from JD for C. Lee. Thoughts on Fantastic Negrito? You're on mute, C. Lee.
Very melodic. There's a yeah, very melodic. If you like gritty kind of blues stuff, he's very melodic, and I like that. I like it. It's a different kind of way of approaching the blues, and it just has a kind of melodic kind of style. It's not if you think of blues, you think of picking, right, and note plucking, right? So it's not a lot of picking and note plucking, but it's blues, but it's also very melodic. I wouldn't call him, he's not Southern Soul, so I don't want to go as far as say he's in the Southern Soul section, but what I appreciate most is how melodic he is. If that makes sense, let me know if that makes sense, brother JD, about him. And want to say something about 7th Street Entry. For those of you who don't know, 7th Street Entry is not just the side room. That was the room when Black Acts had to play, because Black Acts couldn't play in the main stage of First Avenue. And I don't want it to be lost on people that Prince kind of helped put First Avenue on the map when First Avenue had I don't want to say policy, but Black acts couldn't play in First Avenue. And if you listen to Jam and Lewis talk, Jam and Lewis will tell you that they had to create spots. They had to go to like hotels, and they would rent out ballrooms and play in hotels because they couldn't get into First Avenue. Like they couldn't get into any of the white clubs. And so that's a credit to Prince, because like if it was me, and I want to credit Brother Dean because he said something in the thread a while back that makes me think about, I need to do a better thing with my anger and how I respond to folks. But like if I would have been Prince, I'd have been on some F them ish. Like I would have been on some, I'm not trying to go in there, but Prince was visionary enough to know I need this spot and they need me even though they don't need me. Like sometimes when you're talking about a revolution, sometimes when you're talking about moving society forward, you gotta like James Baldwin would say, sometimes you gotta love people enough to know that they need your love even when they don't know they need your love. That's what Prince did to First Avenue. Prince understood that First Avenue needed him as much as they needed. Yes, Prince basically helped to desegregate First Avenue, and so but I like the fact that Prince went back and played at the 7th Street Entry, because that's also him kind of remembering his roots and remembering where he came from. So I just want to put that Prince's legacy, we don't mention enough of Prince's legacy. And it's things like opening the doors of First Avenue to kick open some doors. And I'll say this to add to that. And we talked about this at the it wasn't called the Purple Rain. What was the symposium?
Oh, Erotic City.
We said this. We talked about this at the Erotic City. That we got the Erotic City Symposium, and you can either fact check me on this, or you can email me, and I can give you the facts. Before Purple Rain, that was Eddie Murphy. That was Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor. If you go before Purple Rain, after the 70s blaxploitation, after the 70s blaxploitation, black movies died up, and Purple Rain in '84 kicked open the doors. Yes, D68A, and that's one of my favorite bootlegs, because that's the bootleg that he opened. He says, "If you can dance to this stuff, you're a better man than me, baby." And he opens with Bambi. So just saying all that to say that Prince's legacy is in music and it's in a lot of other things. I'll shut up. Thank you, Brother Andre.
All right. So, Michael, do you mind reading about Thursday, July 11th, 1985?
All right. Venus de Milo, tracking mix. God is everywhere. Overdubs, mix. Neon telephone, vocals likely, mix. Washington Avenue, warehouse, Edina. Y'all say it right. Minnesota. Producer Prince. Artist Prince and the Revolution. Engineer Susan Rogers and David Tickle. Quote, no quote.
We're skipping it.
After returning home from their showcase at 7th Street Entry, Prince and Sheila went back to the warehouse to record a number which had been an instrumental track Prince had written several years earlier. Venus de Milo, which was probably briefly revisited and likely retitled while in France. During this period, Sheila's drums and percussion remained set up in the warehouse, both for rehearsals and for recording with Prince. It was an era of constant recording, and he was pushing the envelope with the sounds he was hearing. And when he had something in his head, he was generally in a rush to get it to tape. For Venus de Milo, he asked Sheila to play drums as he accompanied her on piano. When we played, it was so different from me musically, so different from most anything we had done together, reflected Sheila E. in 2019. And I just thought, you're just incredible. This is such an amazing, beautiful, heartfelt song. I love that song. The title of the song may have been a tribute to Miles Davis. A track named Venus de Milo, written by saxophonist Gary McGullen, appeared on his 1957 album, Birth of the Cool. The two compositions have nothing in common except for the title. The statue of Venus de Milo was the music for Prince's character, was the muse for Prince's character in Under the Cherry Moon, and he'd used images of the ancient Greek statue in the artwork for the album and the single of Kiss. Prince was a fan of Davis, and his 1985 album You're Under Arrest can be seen in Prince's Christopher Tracy bedroom in Under the Cherry Moon. Before the night was over, Prince would mix Venus de Milo as well as God is Everywhere and Yesterday's Neon Telephone, which now contained his vocals. The new mix probably contained the sound effect of the phone ringing in the background vocals by Wendy and Lisa, and likely Susanna, that were probably recorded during this session. Status. There are apparently two versions of Venus de Milo. One is a minute and 55 seconds, and 5 minutes and 22. But only the shorter one was included on the Parade album. Claire Fisher added his touches on August 13th, 1985, and elements of it were used in the Cherry Moon movie. But the longer version remains unreleased during Prince's lifetime. We need to change that. Note, Venus de Milo may have been tracked on the evening of July 10th or after midnight during the morning of July 11th. Also, Sheila has stated publicly that Venus de Milo was recorded at Sunset Sound, although there is some evidence that it was tracked at Prince's Washington Avenue warehouse. It is vital to acknowledge her recollections as she was involved in the session, so her thoughts on this session are historically important. It is likely that Wendy and Lisa were also in the studio during the session, but it is unclear if they participated, although Susan Rogers shed some light on the origins of the track and who was involved. Venus de Milo was done at the warehouse on Washington Avenue. Sheila was around. She played the drums. He played the piano, and then he did everything else. Nobody else was involved.
Yes. All right. So I think it's on Prince's Friends YouTube channel. He does a commentary about the unreleased scenes in Under the Cherry Moon. So if you see the beginning of Under the Cherry Moon, Christopher Tracy is actually talking to a statue, which is the statue of Venus de Milo. But I can't remember if they play the song during that time. I would assume that they would, but I can't remember. I haven't seen that in such a long time. Does anyone remember if they've seen that clip? Do you know?
I don't remember if the music is playing.
I can't remember the music, yeah.
Yeah. But I actually love, the reason why I love that opening that they cut is because he actually says, "We had fun, didn't we?" At the beginning of the movie, as well as his last lines.
Right.
And I think that is so important, especially in real time when people didn't understand, why is Prince funny? Prince didn't know, they didn't know about Rehearsal Prince.
Right.
They only knew about the kid in Purple Rain. So I really do think that cutting that line was not a good idea, so that people could kind of get this context of, it's supposed to be fun. But that's just me.
You know what? I think about that a lot. I agree with you. I think the problem became, and you guys probably have a better eye for it than me. So I agree with you that we lost the context by not having it book in. Mm-hmm. I think that it was, if you have that book in, do you lose whatever they felt like they're getting by opening with Prince at the piano and the interplay between him and Tricky, right? And it was a kind of, they make the decision. Do we go with the bookend, which I think, and you're thinking from a narrative, right? The narrative arc. Do we go from that, or do we want to quickly establish the interplay between Christopher and Tricky, right? And that they are playboys and gigolos. And so I think that became the problem. And I think about that in my mind. Could they have done both? And because I'm not a film person, I don't know about editing like that.
Mm-hmm.
How they could have done it where both of them still have, because what happens is they worry one of them is going to be kind of anticlimactic or not as powerful if one of them is not the beginning, if that makes sense. I'll shut up.
Yeah, so Carol Brooks is saying that missing the beginning was a great mistake. Much of the context was not there to start the movie. Wrong decision. I think he could have done both personally, because Tricky is also in that opening scene.
Okay.
Probably.
That's right.
But then, you would still get that banter between them at the piano right in the beginning. So,
you know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, because without that, I'm thinking about, because I try to think about what was happening in the theater. I think a lot of people in the theater were confused by that bad banter. Like, a lot of people were confused by, like, what the hell is going on? What are these notes? What are these? And they just didn't get it. Like, I got it, and I'm sure you got it, a lot of us got it. But I do remember in the theater, a lot of people didn't get what that banter was about, and that they're gigolos, and Tricky is basically messing with Prince about, hey, man, you're messing up the money. Anyway, that's it. I'll say that.
All right. So to save time, we're not going to read about Friday, July 12th, 1983, because it's just more about Happy Birthday, Mr. Christian, like a transfer that was probably meant for the Apollonia 6 mini movie or video collection. And Prince did not attend this session. So we're going to skip about Friday. And that's the reason why you need to buy your own book, so that you can read what we're not reading, because we'd be skipping stuff. So if you get mad, then make sure you have your own copy so you can read it. All right. So, Celie, will you read about Saturday, July 13th, 1985?
Yes.
Oh, actually, before you do that, because there's two versions. There's two entries. I'm going to do a Dear Duane real quick. Dear Duane, I get super confused when you have the same header for two different sections. I wish you would just put everything under the same date and have like a squiggly something to separate it. All right, I'm going to shut up, as Celie says. Okay, but I will say really quickly, Saturday, July 13th is Prince's video of For the Tears in Your Eyes, aired during the Live Aid concert. An estimated 1.9 billion people, I want to say that one more time, 1.9 billion people from 150 nations watched the event during the worldwide broadcast. Prince had recently finished his massive Purple Rain tour and declined to perform, but what could have kept him away from such an event with such an awe-inspiring global audience? A lot of reasons, explains Lisa. He didn't particularly like those things. He didn't like not having control over the environment, the daylight. I don't know. So for me, it's all about the video. I love that video, For the Tears in Your Eyes. But how do you guys feel about him not performing?
So a couple of things. I think we have to put in perspective for people who weren't there. That was a massive event. Like however we feel about Prince not being whatever, that was a massive event. And to be quite honest, that may be one of, I don't think they talk enough about Live Aid, the date and how much went into it, and because it wasn't just on MTV, like it was on like regular television networks, right? Like people were broadcasting that thing. So that's number one. Number two, love the video immediately. Love that Prince had the video. And something I'll add, and I said this before, because once I learned some things about the struggles that my man had with Soul Train,
Yes.
Yeah, that Don Cornelius had, and particularly with why am I going blank today? Mr. American Bandstand, America's Teenager, Dick Clark. That Dick Clark did some shady stuff as it relates to Soul Train, but it was, business is business. I always appreciated how Dick Clark introduced that video. I always, because Dick Clark probably introduced that video the best way you could introduce that video, because Dick Clark was clear. This dude don't look like how y'all used to him looking. This dude don't sound like how y'all used to him sounding. And if there couldn't have been a more generous, I'm not going to say it was heartfelt, but it couldn't have been a more generous introduction of a video. And I have to give Dick Clark props for that, particularly when I know some of the kind of underhanded stuff that he did to Soul Train. And so I love the video. I love that Prince was a part of Live Aid. And I'll just shut up there and let you guys chime in on that.
I don't think I watched that show at the time. I remember though, like Sheila, it was a big deal. I just knew that he wasn't playing, and I know Michael wasn't going to be on there, and then none of the other groups I listened to was definitely not going to be on there. I think Run DMC was on there though, right?
Yep.
And that was a big deal. That was probably more of a big deal in my mind at that particular time, to be quite honest. But when I did finally see the video and stuff, to me, I appreciate the artisticness of it. I appreciate. I mean, it's fantastic Prince. I just think in the context of the event and the audience and what it was about and everything, to me, him doing that performance at where he was at his career, and like what Dick Clark was saying, let me subvert your expectations. I almost put it in the same way I put Lauryn Hill's. What was the show they used to have? Very popular. We play acoustic.
MTV Unplugged.
I put it in the same way when I think of Lauryn Hill's Unplugged. Major Lauryn fan, you can see her back there, but that wasn't it. Like that was, to me, it was like, I don't want to hear you doing that. I'm not. I respect that you can do it,
right?
But man, I came here to see
right.
my man represent. I just didn't. So to me personally, I just thought it was kind of a missed opportunity. Because boy, he could have wowed those people. Right. I just don't think that video wowed the masses, but I do think it is an excellent performance.
Right.
So, just really quickly, for me, it was super impressive. You have to understand the context of this, that I was only 14 years old, and I just knew in my 14-year-old mind how difficult it was to play an acoustic guitar. Like, anybody can play an electric guitar, but to play an acoustic guitar, like, I was just like, show them, Prince, like, show them the guitarist that you really are. So that was that. So and I hadn't really seen him play an acoustic up until that point. Like, you know, we might have heard it in the songs, but actually seeing him play the acoustic. So that really is what stood out for me personally. And go ahead, Celie.
So and Realign and DJ, could you just for my mind, because I may be misremembering. I remember Rick James played Farm Aid. Did he play both Farm Aid and Live Aid? Realign. Did he play both? Because if he played Live Aid, then that means he must have played both Live Aid and Farm Aid. But I remember him doing Farm Aid. So what was I going to say? I was going to say we were talking about Lisa's quote. I will say this. Not everybody is a festival act kind of person. And I'll just say, so not everybody's a festival act. Like, I know a lot of spoken word artists who love playing festival gigs. I hate festival gigs as a poet. Like, because I'm not a poet who uses music, and I'm not a poet. You always feel like you're doing battle with what's around you in the three-ring circus kind of thing. So I do kind of like what Lisa talked about. There could have been any number of things, because there's just a lot of people who don't go over well at festivals. And I'll say this, as someone who's gone to Essence Fest, I think I went to Essence Fest close to 10 times. Not every popular act is a Essence Fest act. And not every popular act, and I'm not saying that about Prince, I'm just saying that sometimes how you do at a festival is not about your talent. It's, do you even like the atmosphere of festivals? And if we look at Prince's career, I think somebody put in Mill City Festival, right? Prince didn't do a lot of festivals. Like, if you look at Coachella and the Mill City, and what else other than Coachella and Mill City, like, Prince didn't do a lot of festival type things. And so I think that rang true to him not being
Didn't
really.
he do a festival? Yeah,
That's
he had Raphael Sadiq play with him. I remember them talking about that.
okay.
It was way later. But,
Okay. And then and I guess if you want to call Celebration a festival, but that's still a very like controlled kind of thing. I'll shut up.
So, Michael, I know you need to leave. Do you want to do your?
Just real quick, just to add on this, I wonder too, is he still a little apprehensive because of the James Brown thing and the Rolling Stone, where these aren't performances that he controls, and they didn't necessarily go the way he wanted. It was still relatively fresh at that point. I wonder if that sort of plays into I can't control this. Yeah, hey, not touching it. But with that said, man, I do have to dip out. Thank you again for having me on. You guys have a great.
Before you go, I want to say this to you in your face, brother.
Uh-oh.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you. I want to thank you for your spirit. I want to thank you for your grace. And I want to thank you for the kind of human being you are. I just want to just say that to you on you and Prof D, because y'all do great work, but y'all are great people. And I just want to say that to you because I appreciate not only do you spread the purple word, you a good dude. That's it. I'll shut up.
Man, thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. That's what's up. D'Angela, we'll see you next Saturday.
Yes.
You guys have a good one.
Have fun. Bye. All right. So let's see. Real on a DJ says only Farm Aid.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yep. And it was, I just Googled it, 1986 for Rick James at Farm Aid. For
there
those,
we go.
It's on YouTube for anybody who wants to watch it.
Yeah.
Actually,
and he put on a great show, by the way.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it's a good show. Rick put on a good show.
Let me see. Let me make sure I add that. Farm Aid, Rick James, and I need to add the Apples mini movie and the Last Dragon trailer or something to the playlist. All right. So we have one final reading. If you don't mind reading Saturday, July 13th, that would be really great.
Is that me on telephone?
Yes.
All right. Me on telephone mix, girls and boys mix, love or money mix, Washington Avenue Warehouse, Edina, Minnesota. Producer Prince, artist Prince and the Revolution, engineer David Thickle, likely. Eric Lee's quote, love or money was one of my favorite along with girls and boys. While Live Aid was being broadcast, Prince and his engineer created new mixes for Me on Telephone, Love or Money, and Girls and Boys. Excuse me. During Prince's mixes, he wouldn't just work with the elements that existed. He'd often adjust the song completely. Because he had mastered almost every instrument he needed, the main exceptions being brass and woodwinds, he was free to replace any of the instruments and even the vocals on a whim. When he traveled, he reportedly used a
Sennheiser.
Thank you. Sennheiser MD431, a mic he maintained for live events, but in the studio, he had another mic he requested. This is a quote from, is it Susan? Susan Rogers' quote. He used two mics, one for lower and one for upper parts of the scale. The upper end at Sunset Sound and at home, what he liked was very valuable, very rare. Newman, is that a Newman U47? Explains Susan Rogers. When he finds something he likes, he continues to use it, and he used that for the vocals on Girls and Boys.
Now, for Eric Leeds to say, "Yeah, Money" was one of my favorites, it's saying a lot, and I think it's a brilliant tune. It's one of my favorite B-sides. It's one song that I played a lot in my life, and I really love it. And so much so, Celie, I'm curious what you think about this. I was going back and forth. I wonder you 40 or Love or Money 40 with the cymbals. So I decided I wonder you only because Love or Money, like I don't know. What do you think? Should it be I Wonder You 40? And the reason why I went with I Wonder You, because it's like in reverence to Prince, it's going to be 10 years of Prince's passing. And I was just like, I wonder you for Prince. Like, I wonder Prince, right? So that's the reason why I decided to go with that. But I'm curious.
I think you can't go wrong either way. I will admit that I'm really kind of terrible. Like one of the comments I always get on my poems are that the titles to my poems are too literal, right? Usually poem titles are as metaphoric as, so I'm a really kind of literal person when it comes to titles. So I get it. I get the I Wonder You. I think it works with the 10 years. We're 10 years after, we're still wondering about him, and we were wondering about him then, right, in '86. So yeah, I think it fits perfect. Thank you, brother JD, for that comment, because people forget about that. Rick James and Neil Young were once in a band together, and I think that's part of Rick James's talent that doesn't shine through. Do you know this? You don't have to do a long answer to this. Do you know if there have been any like Rick James box sets?
I haven't seen any.
Because I would love, because if they did a Rick James box set, I would love for it to include the Neil Young stuff. Because I think that if you include the Neil Young stuff in the Rick James box set, it's going to give people a much greater understanding. And I think people forget, and just to end it on this, Rick James was a force in that Motown writing studio when he was at Motown. He wrote Standing on the Top for the Temptations. So I we make Rick James a joke, and we talk about Rick James and the Rick James and Prince feud, and we all know what Rick James did to his career. But Rick James was a hell of a songwriter and a hell of a musician, and he needs to be respected. All right, now back to the Prince stuff. That's it. I'll set up.
But Democracy Fund Defense Force doesn't want to believe that Rick James and Neil Young were in a band together.
Yep, that's it, and that's why people need to know that they were Rick James and Neil Young, a Canadian. Thank you, Sister Christina, a Canadian band at that. And so I think that that's something that people really need to. We don't. Rick James. Like Rick James we made him into a meme, right? Cocaine is a hell of a drug, all those things. And I don't think that was Dave Chappelle's point. I think Dave Chappelle was trying to humanize Rick James, but unfortunately, we made it into a caricature. And oh, by the way, and most people who know this, why was Rick James in Canada?
I know, because he was dodging.
There we go. He was dodging the draft. Rick James was a draft dodger, which lets you know about who Rick James was. So, so all of that. Anyway, so yeah, that's right, brother JD. He was evading the draft, and that's how he hooked up with Neil Young. All right, I'll set up.
So there was something I wanted. Something came up, but I didn't save it, so now I don't.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. So Democracy Fund Defense Force. That's Brian. Yeah, he just put in there. He's Brian. Man, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. One of the favorite interviews that I gave talking about Prince is for Us Fest. So if you guys want to hear me have a lot of fun talking about my history as a Prince critic and writing my book about Prince, look up Celie McInnes and Us Fest. It's a great interview. Thank you, Brian. I didn't know who that was. All right, let me shut up. I didn't know that's who that was. All right, I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
So Love Sexy 71 says that he thought he went AWOL.
I'm sorry. You're right. He wasn't draft dodging. He went AWOL.
Okay.
Was he draft dodging AWOL? Yeah, he was AWOL. Yeah,
okay.
They were trying to put him in jail. There we go. He went AWOL. Thank you. Thank you for that correction. There you go.
All right. Okay. So there are a couple of other things I wanted to. What was it? Hold on. I got so many. So first of all, Chanel says, ordered my book by C. Lee on Prince's lyrics to add to my summer reading.
Thank you, sister.
I wanted you to make sure you saw that. And then JD said, I understand the aversion to festivals, but skipping out on We Are the World and Live Aid gave a certain negative impression. But I want to follow that up with El Dabara's comment. I'm glad Prince skirted around all of the Live Aid stuff. Personally, I don't think the Live Aid project aged very well, the way it stigmatized the whole continent of Africa. So I'm curious, what is your response to should Prince have or shouldn't have participated in Live Aid.
So I want to combine both Brother JD's comments with Elder Barr's comments. Because I think, as I like to say, two things can be true.
Yep.
We cannot minimize that not singing on We Are the World and not performing with Live Aid. We cannot minimize that that had a negative impact on Prince. Now, we can try to talk about what was the impact, but Prince got a lot of negative press for those two things. All right, so I'll say that. So, yeah, so I'm with Brother JD on that. I was cool with him not singing in We Are the World. And I want to say this, and I know this is because I think Prof. Duff and I and a couple of folks, we disagree on this part. I'm on two things. I'm cool Prince didn't sing on We Are the World. I'm not a We Are the World hater. So like I enjoyed the song, even though I was glad Prince wasn't on it. And I know a lot of folk in here didn't like the song in real time. There we go. I'm in fact, I got on my Michael Jackson anthology on my playlist. We Are the World is at the end of a Michael Jackson anthology. I ain't gonna even lie to you. It's We Are the World is the last song I have on my Michael. I started with the Jackson 5. I go through all the Michael Jackson solo stuff. In with We Are the World. So I can see that. Okay. So just because. So him skipping it didn't bother me, but I saw where he got the negative. Now I want to come to Elder Barr's point, because Elder Barr is making a great point about, did it provide a negative stigmatism to Africa? I will say this to Elder Barr. I've heard a lot of people say that, and I don't disagree. How do I want to say this? I don't necessarily disagree. But I don't think the stigmatism was as bad as most other people think. I'll say that about it. So some people say it made Africa look really bad. I will say that I don't think that it did. And I love Chris P's point. Yes, Sun City was much more impactful. I agree with you 100% that Sun City was much more impactful. So I'll leave that there. So I hope that makes sense in how I address both of those. But yeah, I think Sun City was much more impactful. However, Chris P, both Sun City and We Are the World are on my playlist. So I like Sun City. We're rockers and rappers, united and strong. We want to talk about South Africa. We don't like what's going on. Everybody say, I ain't gonna play Sun City. Yeah. All right, that's it. So Sun City was my jam. I just want y'all to know that was my jam. All right, so that's it. I'll shut up.
All right.
Wait. I'm not gonna let you get off like that. What did you think about Sun City?
I don't remember Sun City.
Okay.
The thing is, like, okay. I don't like stadium shows. I don't like outdoor festivals. Like I went to a Lollapalooza show.
No. Sun City was a single.
It was a single?
Yeah, it was a single. It was, and actually, I'll tell you who the brainchild behind. Lil Steven. Bruce Springsteen's guitar player. So Lil Steven was, so basically Sun City was, when you think We Are the World, think We Are the World but funky. Like it had the same, like the Temptations was in it.
Okay.
It had a lot of hip hop folks in it, and it had a real big. So think We Are the World but funky. That's all I can say.
You're not helping it if you're mentioning We Are the World.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Yeah, like Run DMC was in Sun City, Temptations.
Okay.
Steven Van Zandt. There we go. Yeah. Steven Van Zandt. He was the brain. That was actually his that was actually his record.
Okay. I got to do some homework. I probably heard it in real time, but it left my mental Rolodex.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Since we were mad over, and we are actually at the end of. There is one thing I want us to. Well, we'll do this really quick. So So far in 1985, Prince has written 44 new songs and has had 64 studio sessions. And the 6 songs he did this week were Girls and Boys, because I saw a lot of people in the chat write boys and girls, but it is Girls and Boys. Oh, yeah. And Sade was incredible at Live Aid. I actually do remember that. And I don't remember much. So, yes. Welcome, Sakari. It's so nice to have you here. All right. So, Girls and Boys, Love or Money, Alexa de Paris, Neon Telephone, God is Everywhere. I really want to hear God is Everywhere. I would love for that to be released. And Venice de Milo, we want the extended version, the 5 minutes version would be fantastic. Really quickly, Omar is going to be in New York City next week. If you haven't got your tickets, you are sleeping. And if you want to see a real music by real musicians, you should be there. And you can see AT Aliens that he's actually doing 2 shows for you guys because Atlanta loves Omar. So if you don't know who Omar is, do your Googles. This man is a living legend. He's coming all the way from the UK. This is his 2nd time in the States in the same year, which is like never happened before. So Omar is a huge deal. So that's one thing. Alice Smith is going to be playing her first show on the East Coast since COVID. This is also a big deal, but it's already sold out. And that's going to be in DC in August. And then I just found out about the Newport Jazz Festival. I don't know why. And this is all sold out because on Saturday is Janelle Monáe, Flying Lotus, and Willow. That is a lineup, as well as Terrence Blanchard and all these other people. So amazing, amazing, amazing festival. And we also got the Black Radio Experience on the West Coast. For those of you out there, Willow will also be performing there as well. And then I wanted to quickly just talk about America. As we know, we talked about this last week, but the reason why the Atmos version of America has been released, and Kim said that she did not like the t-shirt. So I wanted to show the t-shirt to everybody because it's not a faithful reproduction of the 12-inch. So this is the 12-inch and it's just a square, but you can see that that there is like a United States has been created. And then the back is actually the back of the 12-inch, which is America. But actually, the lettering by Margot Chase is all red, and they have it on the t-shirt in red, white, and blue. So this is a t-shirt. I'm curious, did anybody get the t-shirt? Yes, baby love 14. I hope you look up Omar. Like he is, his name is Omar Lyefook, LYE-FOOK. So, because there's another artist named Omar, so make sure that when you see Omar, is that Omar and not the other Omar. And I haven't looked at this recently. I need to go back and look. But I was upset about these credits on YouTube that were auto-generated by YouTube. So I don't know if they fixed this. Can someone go and see if they fixed this? But like there are all these producers on this, which were not, that like these credits are wrong, basically. Right. Because they were auto-generated, right? So I hope they've corrected them. But if they haven't, I guess I will add my comment to the YouTube. I don't like doing that, but yeah. Okay. So, oops, didn't mean to do that. Hold on 1 second. I'm doing too much. And then we talked about Duane's book being at Tiny Desk. Thanks so much, Tanja, for sending me this image so you can see Duane Tudahl's first book in the Tiny Desk studio. You can see it there with the arrow. And we can't forget about the fundraiser for Dr. Funkenberry. So you're out on the West Coast in Hollywood. That's happening on July 27th. And then also don't forget about his GoFundMe, as well as Addie Durant's GoFundMe. And if you don't know who Addie Durant is, hopefully you know about the Clubhouse performance of Purple Rain. And she was a huge reason that happened. So we really want to, Ruth, Prince's manager, Ruth, actually posted this. So we want to help Addie get back on her feet. And Go ahead.
No, good. No, good. Go to that one too, because I want to say something about all those in a second.
Yeah. And then Des Dickerson also has a GoFundMe. So there's a lot of people who need help. So if you have, if you can't help financially, if you just send them kind words, just send them some love. I'm sure it would be very, very beneficial for them. And then don't forget about the company playlist. There's a lot more listed here, and I add a couple more things that we talked about throughout this particular episode. And if you go to my YouTube channel, it's all the way at the bottom. You'll find the accompanying playlist. All right, C. what you want to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say about the GoFundMe. You basically said it. Don't feel like whatever amount you give is not enough or too little. That's the whole point about a crowd fund. A crowd fund is none of us have enough money. If every one of us gave $1, if every one of us gave $2, every one of us gave $5. So don't feel like, man, I can only give $5 or $10. If it's somebody you care about, those are 3 people that we care about. Those are 3 people. So don't not give because you might feel embarrassed or you might feel like I can't give enough. That's the whole point about a crowd fund. That's about all of us. One of the things I love to say is each of us working together keeps the circle unbroken. So each of us giving $5 can help turn that mountain into a molehill. That's it. I'll shut up.
All right. So Michael Dean usually takes us out. Celia, if you don't mind doing that, you'd be my best friend.
I just want to say, like we always say, shout out to brother Arthur Turnbull, who says that the chat is his own superstar. We appreciate you guys coming every Saturday. We appreciate Prof. Dust for continuing to curate this wonderful spot. We appreciate Brother Dean for all that he does with Podcast Juice and coming here. We appreciate Brother Ricky. And the one thing y'all know, I always say this. If we don't tell the story, somebody else is going to tell the story. So all of y'all that's in the chat, don't let nobody fool y'all like they are expert about Prince and y'all are not. It takes all of us telling this story so we can make sure that the story is told right. Love yourself. Love on somebody else. Keep spreading this love. Keep spreading this joy. We'll see y'all next Saturday. Well, I'll be in Bay St. Louis, but y'all will see Prof. Duff. Y'all will see Brother Dean. Y'all will see Brother Ricky. And y'all will see each other in the chat. We'll all get together and be funky one more time next week.
All right. Peace.